What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, and how do we start off this show? As you know them, you love them, you got to have them. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we will have Louie from the Frozen Pirate podcast on with us, talking what else about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, only 8 days away from the NFL draft. You heard what I said, 8 days away. A lot of multiple mock drafts have one player that we just put out there. We didn't put it out there on the thumbnail, of course, for YouTube and the specific platforms, and that would be Nick Emmanwori, the safety from South Carolina. Multiple mock drafts, so we'll get into that. Of course, who would you like to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers draft at number 19? Could they possibly trade down? Light was talking about that today with Jenna Lane of ESPN. So we'll take your phone calls as always. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. With that being said, at 9 o'clock, we'll have Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, going around the NFL. What's the talk with Travis Hunter? The Giants look like they could agree to his terms where he plays both positions, corner and wide receiver. Is that a fit? We'll listen to what Leo Haggerty has to say. And then at 9:30, we'll get you ready for WrestleMania 41 as that starts on Saturday. 2 nights, of course, starting at 7 o'clock on the Peacock Network. Yours truly, along with Louie from the Frozen Pirate podcast, and, of course, Ralph Wlliams. And once again, we want to get your WrestleMania predictions. Can it live up to the hype that was there last year with WrestleMania 40, where you had finished the story with Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns? Do you feel like it's lived up to the hype, if you will, when it comes to the storyline with John Cena versus Cody Rhodes? What do you think about the three-way match between Roman Reigns and, of course, CM Punk and Seth Rollins? How is that going to turn out? And the other matches of the night. So, and then, as always, we'll read your comments. We'll take, again, your phone calls and see what you have to say. Let's go out to that really quick, and then we'll get out to my co-host here, who is on remote right now as we speak, out there traveling, I believe, to Tennessee. So that's going to be very interesting. LFG, go Tampa. You got to love that. All right, Bolts want the cup. Absolutely playing well right now. Your Tampa Bay Lightning looks like they're going to have a home game versus the Florida Panthers. Got to love that. With that being said, absolutely, Roger Shue, acknowledge me, we shall.
Acknowledge me.
He is first right there. And also put this out there because I know that you're going to troll me tonight.
Shut up!
Let's go out to Tim here. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you.
Oh, yeah.
Eric says again, let's go.
Let's go!
And Eric with Hey Pewter Blake. Appreciate that. As always, Eric, let's get out to him. I always say he's my new gun. I got to get myself a gun. So here we go.
What do you hear? What do you say?
All right. What do you hear? What do you say? Let's go out to him on remote, my friend. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. How you doing tonight, boss?
Well, traveling down to Nashville, Tennessee. So it's quite the trip. It was supposed to be about 14, 15 hours, but unfortunately traffic happens. So everybody out there, you're going to have to bear with me. I'm on remote. But what I do want to see in the comments is I want to see everybody wish my lovely girlfriend here, Aubrey, a happy birthday, because that's what we're going down to Nashville, Tennessee for, to celebrate her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. How about that?
36 years young.
Yes.
That?
There you go. Good stuff,
Nurse
man.
Aubrey, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's brutal, man, because we were driving through New York, and then I just seen the traffic. It was like 47 minutes of traffic, plus going over the George Washington Bridge. I said, screw that. So I kind of rerouted our route, saved some time. So we're making some good progress, but we got a lot to talk about, though, today. Lots to get into.
Yeah, and I want to make sure I got the man's name right, because I had problems with the other prospects. Big E there, Izaraku, if he's going to be the pick for the Bucs. Donovan Izaraku there for Boston College, and then of course Jahad Campbell. But the one that I've noticed that's come up in these multiple mock drafts would be Nick Emmanwori, the safety from South Carolina, and this is what has been said about him. According to SI.com, big safety who can play in the box to complement the versatility of both defensive backs would make life easier for Bucs coaches and more difficult for opposing offenses. This is what Chad Reeder had to write as he did his mock for the Bucs. He wasn't quite considered to be a first-round prospect when he was finishing his season at South Carolina, but as an NFL Combine, he excelled, catching the attention of all 32 teams as his stock continued to grow. Now, he may not even be available when the Bucs pick at 19, but if he is, Tampa Bay should consider him. That's not the only one. Chris Trapezzo had this to say. He says, for CBS, he says, him and Antoine Winfield Jr. could be spectacular safety tandem in Tampa. Electric athleticism, instincts galore. It's a simple explanation of the pick, but it does create a picture of a dream pairing right there. So with all that being said, safety, is that really a big need for this team? Because we've heard, Tyke Smith wants to be on the field more. but you take him out of that position, or do you keep him in the nickel? What do you do with him? Do you draft a safety? Do you draft a guy at the end of the day that's 6'3", 215 and runs what a 4.3, 4.4? I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Absolutely, Peter. I mean, I've been saying this. At the end of the day, the Buccaneers are in a very good position with the 19th overall pick, because they can basically go corner, they can go inside linebacker, they can go safety. They're in a good situation. They can't. I feel they can't really miss on this pick. Emmanwori from South Carolina. I like the kid, and I'm just whoever they take, I'll be happy with, because I know Jason Light's doing a good job here as a GM, and he knows what's best for the team. And you know how I feel about Jahad Campbell. You know how I feel about the kid from Ole Miss, Trey Amos, and the other kid from Notre Dame, Watts. Just at this point, a safety they could definitely use. They really need that 1-2 punch with Antoine Winfield Jr. That's why I do like Tyke Smith. I think, if anything, I think Tyke Smith can really step up in that role. I really do. I think Antoine Winfield Jr. needs to stop smiling a little bit. I think he needs to play a little bit, not violent, but a little bit more nasty. And if he can stay healthy this year, because he's a force to be reckoned with. He literally takes points off the board for the opposing teams. We've seen him do it against the Atlanta Falcons and a few other teams. He really has a knack for that peanut punch. But I want him to play a little bit more nasty, a little bit more physical, and stay on the field. And I feel like Tyke Smith can really step into that safety role. I wouldn't be opposed to them going out and getting a safety, but if you're going to do that, you still need to address that corner position, in my opinion. And that's why you have to go get a safety that can play corner as well, because I still think something inside me, I have this funny feeling that they might be shopping Jamel Dean. I don't think Todd Bowles is truly satisfied with Jamel Dean. I just don't think that they can really find a trade partner for Jamel Dean. So to answer your question, no, I wouldn't be opposed to them getting a safety, but he's got to be able to play corner, in my opinion, because the way Todd Bowles runs this defense, it's a very complex defense. It's not the easiest defense to understand. It's a very hybrid style of defense. And again, I feel like I wouldn't mind seeing Tyke Smith and Antoine Winfield Jr. back there, but whatever they decide to do, I'm happy with. 8 days away to make
8 days away. Yeah, 8 days away. You're absolutely correct about that. With that being said, the Bucs also visited with Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky. Ran an impressive 4.28 40-yard dash at the scouting combine, and also posted a 39.5 vertical jump. Of course, would be on the outside rotation out of Kentucky with Zion McCollum, Jamel Dean, and they also have Tyke Smith, so they've been very comfortable with drafting that. Now, don't steal my thunder on this, because you were talking about possibly trading Jamel Dean. You know who else is out there right now as a trade bait? That's actually Jalen Ramsey. We were talking off air on this point and, trying to think if this would make sense. And Miami came out, their general manager, again, according to Ian Rappaport, the Dolphins will mutually explore trade options. His 2024 campaign, of course, he's 30 years old, 11 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, allowing an 83.2 passer rating and coverage. $21.1 million this year with a more flexible contract structure after 2025. Basically, what it says, the acquiring team would essentially be taking on a 1-year, $21.1 million contract with the remaining 3 years set up as a pay-as-you-go structure. With those parameters in mind, what's your sense on that? Could they trade for? Is Jalen Ramsey an upgrade over Dean simply because I believe Dean is younger, but Dean can't stay on the field. So do you think that's an all-in move to go and get a Ramsey from the Dolphins?
It's going to be difficult because, like I said, Jalen Ramsey is, 31 years old, and then now you have Jamel Dean, who is 29. Thing is with me is I honestly feel like it's almost kind of like an even trade. I do think that the Buccaneers would have to give up a draft pick as well, because at the end of the day, Jalen Ramsey is, in my opinion, better than Jamel Dean. I think he missed some time this year, and I think he was rated 10th best corner in the league. And if I'm not mistaken, Jamel Dean was 16th or within the top 20. So, I mean, if it's me, I would like to see if I could find a way to negotiate with the Dolphins where I wouldn't have to get rid of Jamel Dean if I could just acquire Jalen Ramsey. Because I would love to see Jalen Ramsey, Jamel Dean, and Zion McCollum all on the field.
Right.
I mean, that's a match made in heaven. But key word, we're not playing Madden. We're thinking realistically as football fans here. But realistically, I mean, the Buccaneers are definitely going to have to give up something with Jamel Dean to get Jalen Ramsey. I don't think they're just going to give up Jalen Ramsey. But then again, who knows? You know.
Do me a favor. Do you have a light? Do you have a light by chance you could turn on while you're doing that? Let's see.
I would have to pull over and grab a light. Hold on. Let me see if I could illuminate in here a little bit better.
All right, yeah, because we can't. It's getting dark there. You're on your way where again? Go ahead and give the audience out there. And again, this is Freddie, or this is Freddie. And this is Louie. Freddie, this is Louie from the Frozen Pirate podcast here on remote, on his way to where again?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee. All right.
I got my cowboy boots, but I just don't have a cowboy hat, unfortunately.
Well, there you go. There you go, my friend. There you go. All right. So with that being said, let's go out to the comments here. Is Araku? Yes, that's it right there. Thank you, Christopher Cole. Is Araku. Great. Dave Ruffalo says we are going to have Chicago takeover tonight. Roger and the Greek Sun Devil Dave. I don't know where the Greek's at. I mean, he's always welcome here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. So hopefully he's out there watching. Also, Realtor David Zuzman there on YouTube. And, of course, YouTube Super Chats are open. Facebook Stars are open if you love the content, as we were 8 days away from the NFL draft. And don't steal my thunder on this trade rumor or Madden rumor, because Bleacher Report came out with something. I want to throw it out at you. So whatever Jason Light does, he will be good. If Jason Light drafts another JTS or another Logan Hall, you are happy because Jason Light knows what he's doing. He does know what he's doing. Again, okay, so we got two guys. Logan Hall hasn't been bad. He improved last year. JTS. Okay, what else? What else has Jason? Because see, and here's the thing. I know who you are because I see you on Twitter, and this is your thing. You don't like Jason Light, and I understand that. But if you look at the draft just last year, David Zuzman, if this is your real name, I don't know if it's your real name or not. But if you look at what Jason Light did in his draft just last year, how can you hate on that? How can you hate on Graham Barton? How can you hate on Tyke Smith? How can you hate on Bucky Irving? How can you hate on Jalen McMillan? And yet this is what you're going to hear. Right.
Crickets.
Because you're the guy that will say, well, Yaya Diaby's a bum, or you got JTS, or you got Logan Hall, so we're happy with it. Listen, we've been very critical of what Jason Light does, but the majority of the time, and by the way, not every general manager hits on their picks, okay? But if you hit on the majority of your picks, that's the reason why you're four-time NFC South champions. So to answer your question, whatever Jason Light does the majority of the time usually works for the Bucs. Prove me wrong. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let me go out to Christopher Cole. Dean has no trade value. Hold up a minute now. Christopher Cole, Dolphins overpaid for Ramsey. Dave Ruffalo, Louie is in the dark. Yes, we were trying to get some light on for him. We knew you were going to be on remote here, but it does get dark. It's getting dark. A no to Ramsey, too much money, $21 million for Ramsey. Is money for you? Is that a big move? Is that too much money in your opinion? Let's say you can't get a corner in the draft because you go and you get a linebacker, an edge rusher. Is it too much money then, or you still go draft a corner?
No, to me, I mean, here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand this.
Right.
Is that Jalen Ramsey out of Florida State, right? A lot of people don't understand. He used to play safety. And I think a guy like Jalen Ramsey, if they really wanted to, they could transition him to safety in the Buccaneers defense. He's very versatile. And I don't want to hear that, oh, they can't do that. They can't do that. Listen, a lot of people don't bring this up, but on the back end of Rondé Barber's career, he played safety. You know what I'm saying? So Ramsey is versatile. For $21 million, I think the Buccaneers can maybe restructure some of that money. Again, we have the bet to that last person who commented not Christopher Cole. I forget the gentleman's name there, but basically saying that Jason Light is overrated. I beg to differ. That I mean, we've drafted superstars.
Yeah.
Vita Vea, you know what I'm saying? Bucky Irvin, a young upcoming superstar. Another young upcoming superstar. Jalen McMillan. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, that's just complete nonsense. I don't know any other GM that's been with the team as long as, I could be wrong, but I don't know anybody else that's been with the team as long as Jason Light. I mean, he brought you Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? He brought you Bruce Arians.
Well, just forget that. You get not only Bruce Arians, you get JPP, you get Ndamukong Suh, you get Shaq Barrett. The offensive line was built. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Donovan Smith, but he played well in some points in his career. You've got Ali Marpet, you've got Alex Kappa, you've got Tristan Wirfs. I get it. Bucs fans love to say, well, that was Bruce Arians. He had some input. Okay, he had some input, but Jason Light still pulled the trigger on that and also built that team for Tom Brady to come here. So enough with the Jason Light hate and all that. And this guy is famous for it. He's famous. This is what he does. This is exactly what he does. I'll tell you what, let's go out to the phone lines here as I hook up my phone in the back as I can hear my roommate is home. He's probably, I don't know what the Red Sox score is, but hopefully the Rays are winning. Let's go out to Alex leading off the Evolution. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, 8 days away from the NFL draft.
Yes, I'm actually not calling to talk about no Rays or no Rays or Bolts. I actually want to stay on the Bucs topic.
Okay.
The person who commented about Jason Light you're out of your mind. You gotta people forget that the cap issue that Tom Brady left the Bucs in after he left and what he's been able to do even after Tom Brady left us is nothing short of amazing. I mean, his draft picks are incredible. Bucky, come on, bro. I mean, this man put up 1,000+ yards.
Bucky Irving in the 4th round. You get Bucky Irving in the 4th round, and you got this guy saying, I'm not a hater, I'm a realist. Well, here's the realist. You haven't told me anything about 2024. What did Jason Light do in 2024 that you hate? Please tell me. Put it in the comments.
There's nothing to hate. I mean, like I said, people are also forgetting that we were in cap space hell for quite some time, and you had to have. And I think what Jason did is he took that cap space, he focused more on the draft, and you got your Jalen McMillan and you got your Bucky Irving and so much more. So for people to come on here and say that I think he's the best damn GM in the NFL.
He's right up there. Oh, absolutely.
He's right up there. I think Howie Roseman of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles, yeah.
Conversation.
And a lot of people don't understand is that what he does in that front office with the salary cap, I can't really see. Like, the New Orleans Saints have tried to emulate what we do, and look what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy who's saying this about Jason Light, he's probably somebody who thinks Mark Dominic was a good GM for the Buccaneers. Think back to all the past GMs that we've had outside of Rich McKay.
I just want to know. I want to know first, how long has this guy been a Bucs fan? How long you been a Bucs?
That's
fan
true.
Not long.
Because if you have not been a Bucs fan for a long time and you expect a Super Bowl every year, I got something to tell you. It doesn't happen every year. Also, if you haven't been a Bucs fan for a long time, you truly don't know what losing is. You truly don't know when a general manager has bust after bust after bust after bust, boss. You don't have any idea. Some of you Bucs fans out there are completely spoiled.
And Peter,
yes.
And I want to say too, and I want to give hats off to Baker Mayfield too, and what he's been able to establish here, because there were a lot of people, not happy with when the Bucs brought in Baker, and what Baker's been able to establish with this offense has been nothing short of amazing. Now, I think in the draft, obviously, we're going to focus on edge rushing, and we're obviously going to focus on our defense and especially our secondary. Not sure what's going to happen with Jamel Dean. Does he go up on the trade block? You guys were just talking about Jalen Ramsey again. I don't think it's smart. I think was $21 million.
Yeah.
I just think that's too much. Personal opinion is he better than Jamel Dean? Absolutely, in my opinion. Jamel Dean's also always hurt, can't ever stay healthy. You know, there's so many great options that the Bucs can go in the draft and pull out to boost up that, especially that secondary and that edge rushing, in my opinion. But
all right, we got hold on, hold that point here. I want to read this. I want to read some of these comments. Stand by, Alex. You can go ahead and comment. Jason Light is unbelievably good, absolutely talented.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to David here. General managers in all sports are considered good or great if they're 50-50 or even 40-60. When he gets it wrong, it pisses me off. When he gets it right, I love him. That's all part of being a sports fan, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of Bucs fans are acting like he's getting picks wrong all the time, and he's not. The reason why this team continues to be competitive and say whatever you want to about the NFC South, but when you win it 4 years in a row, you know what the hell you're doing. When you're able to, overcome the Tom Brady salary cap hit, you know what you're doing. The whole organization over there knows what they're doing. When you're able to build a team to get Tom Brady to come here, you know what you're doing. I wonder what he's saying. Oh, this is what he has to say. Listen to this. In 2024, Light waited until OTA started to resign Wirfs, and as a result, we only got money to sign free agents after free agency was almost over. We had holes at middle linebacker, cornerback, edge, and he did nothing. Well, they thought the team with Britt at middle linebacker was going to be fine. They thought that Jamel Dean, getting him in the fold, that he could stay healthy, trading Carlton Davis, which, by the way, he used that third-round pick to get Jalen McMillan, which wasn't bad at all. And Edge. Look, Edge, you know what? They gave JTS a chance. It didn't work out. They were still one of the teams to get after the quarterback. Is it still a need? Yes. But, you're not going to find an edge. You're going to have to overpay. And then on top of it, you have money devoted to your own players, like a Baker Mayfield, like a Mike Evans, like a Tristan Wirfs. There are teams out there that will let him go that right now he's on this team. He's getting paid big time money. He deserves that big time money at this point. How you doing, Steve? Hopefully the Rays are beating the Red Sox. Sitting says, go Bucs, go Bucs.
Go Bucs, baby.
There you go. Huh? Mid-20s. All right. So yes. 4-1, he says right now, 4-1 series over the Florida Panthers. His prediction, we're putting it out there. We're gonna get him on the show here. Stevie here likes to talk a lot. Huh? All right, get your hair done. Go get the hell out of here. You got no hair. Get the hell out of here. He's a Red Sox fan. Love that guy. He says 4-1, the Lightning win the series, and he said the Bucs trade back, and we'll get back to that in a moment here. Alex, I want you to finish up, and I'll continue to read these comments.
So last stop before I go.
And Louie, we can see you now. Oh my God, we can see your face. There you go, buddy.
You can see me now?
Yes, man. You're right.
To the fans out there watching, if you see me go away, it's because I'm checking the GPS. I don't want to get lost.
Well, listen, you were Aaron Rodgers there for a moment as you were in the dark room, so we don't necessarily.
That was a good one. I like that.
Thank you very much. All right, Alex, go ahead and finish up, my friend.
Just a quick thought on the Bucs, and then I'll use my second phone call at the end of the show to talk about the Rays and the Bulls real quick. But if I'm the Bucs, just to talk about the draft real quick, I think it was Perry that made a comment on Monday night when he said you have to focus on putting pressure on the quarterback.
Correct.
You do that, the Bucs are going to be in good shape. So if I'm going into draft, I'm not really sure who's available much up in the draft. I haven't really been focusing on that lately, but focus on edge rushing, man. Put pressure on that quarterback, because I promise you, if you can fix that with that secondary, I think the Bucs are going to have a good draft.
All right, good stuff, Alex. Appreciate it. Let me give you the Ric Flair.
Woo!
You killed it as always. Appreciate you. Yeah, he always brings it here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Thank you, Alex, for that. So again, I go back to this comment. Then he drafted on the first round a tackle to learn how to play as a center. He drafted mediocre Braswell using a second-round pick, as far as I see it. 2 very bad first and second-round picks. Okay, so Graham Barton was a bad center last year. Are you serious? Did you see this offensive line? They're one of the top units, and I know who you wanted. You are the same guy that says you want this guy and wants this guy, and no team wants him. No team even signed him. You're the same guy. I know exactly who you are. You are a Twitter troll. Thank you very much. Welcome. But if you think that Graham Barton was a bad pick, I mean, let's go ahead and dissect that. Louie, Graham Barton as a center. You dropped him first round. What do you think?
I think the Buccaneers did a fantastic job in drafting Graham Barton. Center is probably one of the hardest positions to play on the line outside of left tackle. So this gentleman who's saying these things, I'd love for him to call in.
I'd love for him to call in too. And he says Braswell is a mediocre player. Braswell had 1 year.
Yeah, he had 1 year.
Let me ask you something. Nolan Smith, who got drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think he had like 1 or 2 sacks his first year, and then he popped off for 11. Was he mediocre? Some of you Bucs fans, like again, some of you guys are very spoiled, and you're not in reality. You think that some pass rusher is going to come in and be TJ Watt. Not every TJ Watt is growing on trees. I'm sorry. It's not happening like that.
Absolutely
That's
not.
why it's one of the toughest transitions when you draft a guy from the edge to come in right away. They don't do very well. Let me go out to Christopher Cole. Light nailed the last 5 drafts. Steve Mike says light best since McCoy. Rays are losing as always. Well, they won the first game. They lost the game last night. They're losing right now 1-0 in the 6th inning. Lightning winning the series 4-2. And Graham Barton, Pro Football Focus 54 and more than 11 penalties and many botched snaps. Had a couple botched snaps, but he definitely solidified that offensive line. Is somebody really going to tell me that Barton did not solidify that offensive line? As you are on remote you are literally on remote right now.
Oh, yeah.
Louie from the Frozen Pirate Podcast here on Evolution. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Open phone lines here, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let me go out to Bleacher Report because they threw this out there, and it's kind of like you read my mind because I didn't really tell you where I was going to go with this tonight. But they said a trade package. The Bucs get Jalen Ramsey. The Miami Dolphins would get a 2025 4th-round pick, number 121 overall, and Jamel Dean. It says at 28, cornerback Jamel Dean may have plateaued in a starting role. Since he signed an extension in 2023, he's registered 11 pass breakups and interception, allowing passer rating of 111 and 91.2 over the last 2 seasons. Perhaps he needs a change of scenery to re-energize his play. Last season, his full year as a full-time starter, Zion McCollum had a decent showing. He recorded a team-leading 17 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, while allowing an 86.9 passer rating. So there you go. Ramsey for Jamel Dean and a 4th-round pick. Would you do that?
Ramsey for Jamel Dean and a 4th-round pick. So so I like it, Peter.
Stand by for a minute. Stand by. Let's go and hold that thought. Let's go out to the phone lines here. Eric, welcome to the Evolution.
What's up, my buddy?
What's up, man?
Bring your excitement, bring your passion, don't bring no nonsense.
There you go, man. You got it. Good stuff there. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about the damn Razors. Race drunk.
Well, they had a bad night last night.
And again,
What did they do? What did they do on Monday night? Do you remember, Eric, or were you having selective amnesia?
It was 16-1.
Okay. Wait. Hold on. Eric, please. Thank you. 16-1, and you said you started off the show with Ray Stink, and I said, "What did they do on Monday night?" And you go, "Well, it was 16-1." That's it. Like 16-1. It's a long baseball season. It's a long baseball season. Okay. So they don't. Okay. Yeah, because the Rays stink. They lost 1 game, and you're ready to dismiss them out the door at this point, right?
Hey, if it was an 18-game season, I'd say, hey, the Rays stink. But we got a lot of baseball to play, bro.
I go Monday. What did they do? He goes 16-1. Oh, he doesn't even say it. He goes, oh, they won 16-1. It's like, okay, yeah, they're supposed to win every game at this point, Eric. I forgot.
Well, my question
You sound like a spoiled Bucs fan at this point. And the next thing you're going to tell me, Eric, is that Jason Light stinks at drafting too. Is that what you're going to tell me? I'm in a real good mood tonight. Can you tell?
General manager, I don't know what the
well, he's probably drinking the same drink that you had tonight when you said the Rays stink. And I said, what do they do on Monday night? And you go 16-1. Last couple nights, right?
Yesterday and the night before.
Yeah. But it's only a night before, though. It doesn't count because the Rays stink.
Yeah, okay.
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 All right. Yeah.
Yeah. What
Okay.
I'm trying to say, let's get
Yeah.
to the Bucs, man.
Yes.
I don't mind we draft Camel the first round.
So you like Campbell or you like Ezaraku?
I like both.
Okay. Well, you can't get both. Can you give me a straight answer here? Give me a straight answer at 19. Who do you want the Bucs to take? Either linebacker from Eric. Please stop talking. Okay, Eric. Please stop talking over me if you want to call the show. Listen, it's either one choice. You're taking Campbell at 19 or you're taking Ezaraku at 19. Which one can you get? Which one do you want?
Camel.
Okay, there we go, Eric. All right.
I'll tell you why.
Okay, tell me why.
Because he has everything as a linebacker he has. He has all the mechanics.
Okay.
And he'd be Levante David replacement.
Okay, Levante David replacement. All right, anything else, Eric?
Yes, it's good, man. I don't think we'll draft pass rushers because we got Reddick in free agency. Somebody to say about Jason Light doesn't know what he's doing in the free agency or draft.
Mm-hmm.
We get Reddick for a discount.
Got what for a discount? What are you talking about?
Reddick, the defensive end.
Yeah, 1 year for $14 million, only $12 million guaranteed. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that was a great deal. And he said,
right.
Everyone said, he doesn't, this man doesn't know what he's doing. Oh, yeah, he does.
Well, he knows what he's doing. What did you think of the draft last year? Did you like Graham Barton, or do you think he was overrated?
I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Still.
We're going to call in tonight. This is what we're going to do. We're going to put it out there for Bucs fans. I want you to call in and tell me if Jason Light is a great GM or if he stinks, because this guy thinks he stinks for some reason.
We only had one bad draft. You talking about the James Winston? Is he talking about the kicker? He do.
I mean, how many years ago was that, guys? It was 2015 for Jameis Winston. You're talking about Roberto Aguayo. What are we talking about here, Eric? Have a great night. I'm done with that call, man. You got to
try again. Try again.
I tell you what, I'm going to go out to the Greek here. Maybe he can give me a little bit of feedback, because I asked Eric the question, how about the Rays? They stink. Then I asked him money. Well, they only won 16-1. Okay. And then he's going back to 2015 for Jameis Winston and Roberto Aguayo. Where do we find these people? God, I love when you guys call up, but please, when you call up, turn your radio down or your music down. And then on top of it, don't talk over me, because guess what? I'm not at my sales job. I'm going to hang up on you. Enough of that. Let's go out to Eric. Let's go out to Harry. Jeez. Professional handicapper extraordinaire of the sports web. Where do we start here?
Are we talking about Winston or Aguayo? I'd love to talk about these guys.
Well, let's talk about that, because that's what people will hold against Jason Light. They will go all the way back to 2015, 2016, because somebody pissed in their Cheerios, but they forgot that this was the general manager that built the Bucs up so Tom Brady could come here with the defensive pieces and offensive pieces. By the way, he drafted Mike Evans, he drafted Chris Godwin, but like Eric said, that doesn't matter. He had Winston and Aguayo. It felt like it was the Rays comment. Well, they won on money. Well, that doesn't matter. They still stink. Help me out here.
First off, Aguayo is not a bad player. Jameis Winston got a bad rap. Okay. I can name hundreds of draft picks that were in the first round, especially like a quarterback like Jameis Winston. Let me ask you a question, Pete, and this is for the web heads out there.
Sure.
How many number one overall picks have actually made it in the National Football League? And how many number one overall picks that were quarterbacks made it in the National Football League? Oh, wait.
Well, there's been plenty of quarterback bust. Louie, we talked about it.
I said made it. The bust is a much longer list.
Right.
It's not that easy. The first one that comes to mind is Andrew Luck.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Anybody want to try one? Honestly.
Andrew Luck. I'm trying to think of one. Lamar Jackson, first round pick.
No, how about a first overall pick?
First overall pick. Let's see. Well, Baker Mayfield right now is doing pretty good for the Bucs. But
his career. Hold on. Let's be fair. They thought he was a bust too. Come on, give me another one.
Let's see.
They
First
should be
round,
spitting off the top of your
they're
mind.
not. They're
But
not.
there's not that many.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but Jameis Winston was not as bad as what people thought. Now, was he? Do I prefer Jameis Winston up under center? No,
Joe Burrow.
I actually had a chance to talk to Coach Lovey. Coach Lovey Smith. It was I told you the story about 3-4 years ago when I was down by Lakewood High School and we were talking to them and they were recruiting players and he was with the University of Illinois and I asked him point blank. I says, "You were enamored with Jameis Winston. What happened?" He says, "Well, there's a plethora of things. I'll leave that part of the conversation private." And then I asked him, I says, "If you had your choice between a Jay Cutler to build a team or a Jameis Winston," and he said, "Stop. It's not even close." He said, "Hindsight's 2020. Jay Cutler was a better quarterback." I said, "What was Jameis's problem?" And I quote, "He had no backside presence. That was his only problem. He couldn't feel the pressure from his backside. Everything else, that man had every single tool there was." So please spare me when people want to talk about, how the Buccaneers Jason Light. You want to go back how many years from?
I mean, we went back to 2015, 2016, and here.
But
Okay.
they stink. I get it.
Yeah. Well, let me just continue to read some of these comments from this guy because he's a Jason Light hater. Our best center performance last year was handsy against the Saints. Okay, that's ridiculous. Okay. That's how bad Barton was as a center. That's why they let Handsy go to Jacksonville in the first place, and that's why they upgraded the position. I know you're a pro football focused guy here, Louie and Harry, but I got to go out to you, Harry.
Yes. I'm not a PFF guy. I don't give out grades. Grades are idiots. I don't do grades.
What you saw from Barton last year, do you think that he was bad for the Bucs? Do you think he was awful? He was an awful selection for this Tampa Bay team?
No. He's got. I'll stop you right there, Pete. Barton was not a bad pickup for the Bucs. He's got a lot to learn. And let me tell you something. It's not an easy position to play. Let's be real. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it, wouldn't they? I mean, give me a break.
Right.
I mean, he's going to get better in this year, just like the poor linebacking play that they had, just like some of the poor execution they had in the defensive line. This is all going to improve in 2025. Mark my words, it's going to happen. It's because it's going to be a lot more cohesive. I want to hear Louie's take on that.
Yeah, Louie. Well, and we got some light there, so that's good. And again,
Louie, twist that camera over. I got to see who's up in the passenger seat.
Well, you already.
They all went to the bathroom. They all went to the bathroom. Can you guys still hear me? All right?
Yeah, we can hear you. He's on his way to Nashville, Tennessee, and he decided to come on the Sports Web tonight, man. He's a trooper. All right, so talk about this. Graham Barton.
Did you sign the waiver?
You signed the waiver, yes. You signed the waiver, yes.
I brought the milk thistle for my liver. It's a little supplement that helps you out because I know there's going to be a lot of drinking down there. And I will say this. After this trip in Nashville, I told everybody in the vehicle, I said, do not expect me to drink anymore after this because I'm going to retire for a little while because I know what Nashville entitles is. It's I think they call it like Nash Vegas or something. I don't know. But as far as the offensive line situation goes, like Graham Barton, again, I'll say it again. Graham Barton made one crucial mistake during the season, and that was when he fumbled the football. It was a bad snap during that wild card game against the Commanders. He will never, ever, ever do that again. It was such a how can I say it's a moment where it's going to either make or break somebody, and I think that moment right there is going to make him a better player. Everybody said the same thing about Cody Mock, who I personally messaged Jason Light to draft him in the second round. Doubt that he read the message on Instagram, but Cody Mock, everybody hated Cody Mock, and look at him now. The dude's a mauler. I mean, is he like the best right guard in the game? No.
No, he's got a lot to learn and to do, buddy. His feet are a little slow. I've got my critique on Cody Mock. He's going to be a really good guard in the National Football League, but he's another year removed. You're going to see drastic improvement from what you've seen this past year. He's got that mean streak in him. He's just got to get a little bit of a better technique, and he'll be really good at the right guard position.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, these guys only get better is what I'm saying. And Graham Barton, I don't know why. I still can't believe that people will think that this was a bad pick. It kind of reminds me of the Tristan Wirfs situation, and I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Look, these are not the sexy picks. These are the necessary picks that help build a Super Bowl team. You know, A statistic that nobody really knows is that if you have an offensive line that plays together for more than 5 years, you're going to win a Super Bowl. And you can go back and look up that statistic. Every team that's had an offensive line that's been together for more than 5 years has won a Super Bowl. The games are won in the trenches. If you can keep your quarterback upright and you can open up the holes, especially for guys like Rashad, Bucky Irvin, and play defense. And what was the biggest problem last year, gentlemen? The Buccaneers defense did not play well. They put the Buccaneers offense in some bad situations. They also were on the field for long periods of time, and they got worn down. They just couldn't make a stop. This year is going to be a little bit different, in my opinion.
I believe that.
All right, let's go.
Hang on. He mentioned Tristan Wirfs.
Yes.
You be quiet, Peter. Go to the 3 screen because I want to see Louie's face. Do you remember? Just asking. What was Tristan Wirfs' welcome to the NFL moment? Do you know the play?
Oh yeah. Khalil Mack hip tossed him.
Welcome to the NFL, baby.
I will tell you right now, if you don't,
that has never happened again to that man.
That's it.
No.
Never.
And again, that's what I said about these moments. There's those make or break moments, those welcome to the NFL moments that make or break players. And again, Tristan Wirfs got hip tossed by Khalil Mack on a primetime game at that.
Oh, yeah.
At a primetime game. And that's embarrassing. That's very embarrassing.
Well, it's an anniversary because that's the first time I met Mr. Harry the Greek over at the Deck Bar and Grill. There you go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right. Let's go to read these comments. Hold up here, Louie. Hey, Shadow. Hey, everyone. How you doing?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Izaraku is the only sensible pick to do. I agree with you on that. Eric
He'll
is
be
wild.
gone by then.
He may be. Light got the junkyard discount for Reddick, and that's why he signed him. I mean, again, he signed him to a good deal, okay? And the reason why you're able to get him at that discount is because he only had 1 sack last year. But any other year, he would have costed them $18 to $20 million. And make no mistake about it, David. You had 50 sacks. This guy's not a bum. We're not over. You would probably be the guy that wants to overpay Chase Young with the Saints over just potential alone. And I think we lost Louie there. So we'll get him out of there. Some
Little Louie, where you at?
3-3 against the Dodgers and Padres. We shut up. Eric says, talking about one guy in the chat, Peter H. Blake. Eric is wild as hell, not me. David says, you don't have to go back to 2015 to hate the things that Light do. Okay, what do you hate specifically? Because this guy really is something else. What do you hate specifically that he's done besides lead this team, not only build this team methodically through the draft with younger players, have one of the youngest rosters in the National Football League, win a Super Bowl, have consistent playoff appearances for the last 5 years, get Tom Brady, win the NFC South 4 years in a row, overcome. What do you not like about Jason Light? Please put it in the box there. Put it in there, guy. Seriously. I don't know what he's talking about. How do you not like Jason Light? You know what he's talking about here? No, exactly. All right, let's go out to Louie here as he's on remote. We're on the Evolution Open Phone Lines. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Harry the Greek and Louie from the Frozen Pirate Podcast. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. That was a great pick at the time. He says Mayfield. We talked about Mayfield. Relay. Ryan Leaf, Josh Rosen. Yeah, terrible picks right there. Elway. You have to go all the way back to 80. What was it?
83.
Yeah, 83. Burrow has been okay. All right, but he's had his problems. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. He got to 1 Super Bowl. Some people would call him a bust.
Very few have made it. Most have busted.
Josh Freeman was not a number 1 overall pick. Nice try, Eric. Eric, again, you're like, forever. Bryce Young right now is not done anything either.
Shut up!
I think
who said Bryce Young?
Eric.
No, I didn't say to name all the first round picks, Eric. Here, watch me.
Go ahead.
Ready. Hang on.
Yes.
Can you name the good ones that have made it in the National Football League? That's first overall pick quarterbacks.
Yes.
It wasn't how many first overall picks were quarterbacks. It's how many that were good.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
True. Okay. All right. And I think we lost Louie again. So
No, I'm still here. I'm looking at the GPS. I got to get back on the highway. I'm still
all right,
here.
man. All right, man.
Louie's in his closet.
Louie's not in. All right.
Back in the closet.
Steve
Louie,
Young,
come out of the closet. Louie, come into the light.
One second.
Steve Young was great. Yes, for the 49ers, not for the Bucs. Jamarcus Russell was terrible. What are you talking? What, What?
That's good enough to suck right there.
What are we talking about, guys? We're talking about first-round quarterbacks that did well, not suck.
Here you go. I got the best one for you. Let me read
Yes.
this for you. It's a book.
Yes.
Oh, no, it's right here. Oh, since 1967, 130 quarterbacks have been selected in the first round of the NFL draft. However, only 61 of those have won a playoff game as a starter, and 58 have been selected to the Pro Bowl. In terms of the first overall pick, there have been 21 quarterbacks selected in the modern era since 1967. This includes names like Terry Bradshaw, who, by the way, should have went to the Bears, John Elway, Troy Aikman, Peyton Manning, and more.
Okay.
Thank you for that dissertation.
Thank you for the Google search there. We appreciate that. Do you know how many?
But that was informative.
Yes. Do you know how many top 15 picks Jason Light had year after year to build a roster that won in 2020? Yeah. Ali Marpet, Donovan Smith. Let's go down.
Hey, that was your favorite player.
Well, I mean, he was decent. He's a decent player.
He was the human turnstile. He would give up the cheeks almost on every play. He'd give up the cheeks.
How many top 15? I mean, this guy does make some type of point there. Top 15 picks. He did have Mike Evans. Mike Evans any good? How about Chris Godwin? Was he good? He's any good at all? No?
Not bad.
Yeah, but it's not even just that, guys. It's just Jason Light. How many GMs do you know actually really care about the fans and care about taking care of their own and taking care of their players? I mean, Jesus Christ, he brought Deshaun Jackson here because he wanted to win. At least he makes the effort. A lot of these GMs, man, they don't do that. And how many teams do you know of right now that take care of their own players outside of their?
Well, I think we lost you there. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
You guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we lost you there with some Wi-Fi difficulties here. Let's see. Barton had a very shaky rookie year. It was a mistake not to move him.
That was my good point.
In this offseason, he's not a good center, and he will never be. Well, he'll never be a good center. He was a good center last year. He wasn't bad. He had some mistakes as a rookie. All rookies have mistakes. Why do you think he should have been moved to left guard? You actually like Robert Hansey? Jacksonville got him. He's terrible. He was a terrible center. Why do you think they drafted Barton in the first place? It was not a bad pick. It was a horrible pick. You don't pick a great center on the first round unless your team is absolutely stacked. We picked a tackle that plays bad as center and gets penalties and all. The time, I think he's out of his mind. I really do. Hi, Peter. Hi, Greek. Go Bolts. Playoffs next week. Absolutely. Let's go out to Roger Shue. Go Cubs. Go. Where is the Lightning playoff talk? We will definitely have to have you on next week, especially if I have to have people tell me how bad Jason Light is. Okay, we got that one. Says, absolutely, I would always sign Chase Young into a multi-year deal rather than signing Reddick age 30 for 1 year. There you go. That's the reason why you're not a general manager. That's the reason why you're on YouTube right now trolling everybody. Because guess what? That Chase Young pick, it's going to be a terrible signing by the Saints. That's the reason why the Saints are in cap hell, and that's the reason why the Bucs every year do a good job of handling their cap. You would have signed Chase Young off of 5.5 sacks.
If Chase Young was so good at that position, the Commanders would have never let him go. Guys like that, they build their defense and their whole swagger around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's irrelevant. I mean, guys like that, come on, man, really?
Right. Again, Jeremiah says Jamarcus Russell. Where was he good? I don't think he was ever good. I think you're missing.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Okay, you misunderstood. All right. Next is Ryan Jensen. How was Ryan Jensen as a free agency pickup? How was JPP as a free agency pickup? How was Ndamukong Suh? Light is such a bad general manager because you're just judging him off the talent of drafting. But let's not go ahead and focus on, once again, the team that he built. That's what it comes down to. Chase Young was better than Reddick last year, 1 year. But overall, for total body of work, how many sacks did Reddick have compared to Chase Young? Put it in the box. Please allow me, because I'm not a math major. I did fail math in college, but please tell me, Reddick stats compared to Chase Young. Do you know the Chase Young and Reddick stats here, Louie? Do you know the?
I gotta go. I'll be back.
All right. Here, we'll get out of here. We'll go to the 2-shot here. Do you know what that number is? Because I'm pretty sure, as we lost you again here. So this is
right now I'm in Virginia. I can still hear everything. So it's just when the screen goes blank, I can still hear everything. It's just I got a phone call over there. Okay.
I got you.
That's what
I got you. All right. So Chase Young was better than Reddick last year. Jason Light is way worse at free agency than drafting. Sure. Because he built the whole team.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Chase Young was better than Reddick last year. Yeah, Reddick wasn't on the field because he wanted a deal. Because he deserved a deal. Oh,
okay, so let's look at Chase Young's stats here, because you're a guy here. So he had a grand total of 5.5 sacks, played the whole year. In 2023, had 2.5 sacks. In 2023, had 5 sacks for a total of his career. With you overpaying for a guy like that, 22 sacks. I'm going to go out to Eric. This is your second call. This is the end of this. Do not talk over me. Eric, welcome back.
Okay, hello. I'm ready for my second call.
Yeah, your second call. Go for it.
Yeah.
Make it count, bud.
I don't know what the hell the one Bucs guy is talking about. I can count on one hand who Jason Light has done great in free agency. 1, Tom Brady. B, Rob Gronkowski. C, playoff winning. Oh, don't forget about Antonio Brown. 4, 5, Sue.
Okay.
Number 6,
JPP. Shaq Barrett. Yeah.
Number 9, don't forget about Ryan Jensen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And number 10.
Well, we're losing Eric. I appreciate the call. I can't deal with that. Can't deal. All right, let me go back out to Harry here, unless he's not ready to come on. We're talking about being a good manager. We're not talking about Light being the male version of the Mother Teresa. We're talking about football. We all talking about football. We talked about football. We've been talking about football. You went back to 2015, 2016. You haven't told me who built the team. Who built the team to get Tom Brady a Super Bowl? Who built the team? Tell me. Put it in the box. Because I don't know. Maybe I'm hallucinating at this point. Maybe I'm hallucinating. Who built the team?
No, you're not hallucinating. It's just I don't know what these people are drinking.
I don't know what this guy's thinking. 22 sacks last year. You're overpaying for Chase Young, $17 to $18 million a year. That's the reason why you're not a general manager. That's why the reason why you're never going to be a general manager. Stick to Madden. Stick to Madden, my friend. Stick to Madden. 22 sacks.
Crazy. Chase Young. Chase Young.
He had two impressive. He had 2 good free agencies in 13 years. Okay. He had 2 good free agencies. He had a free agency where he built a team for the greatest of all time to win a Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Tell me, realtor David Zuzman, who built that team? Just put it right in there. How many
not only
Super
that,
Bowls
Peter, not only that, take all the GMs in the NFL right now, all 32, all the 31 other GMs. Let's see how many Super Bowls they brought to their team within the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's so mind-boggling to me that people still think that Jason Light is not a good GM.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't want to waste any more time on it. I'm just kind of lost for words. I really am, because he brought us the championship. Well, he helped contributed to bringing us. He helped build the team, and I don't know many GMs, again, the financial issues with the salary cap hell, with the Brady era, and just bringing back the whole team and really competing. The last time I seen this team being as competitive as it is right now, the last time I seen this was the late 90s, early 2000s. Outside of that, they weren't very good. So, Jason Light came in here. He came from the Patriots. He was a scout, player scout over there. He did a fantastic job over there. You saw what they did over there. And then Jason Light came here, and then the rest is history. He helped build the team. I'm going to say one name right now, and I want to put this conversation to rest.
Yeah.
He drafted Mike Evans.
Right.
Mike Evans, who is probably going to go down, depending on how the next couple of years go for him, who's probably going to go down and probably one of the best of all time wide receivers to do it. So enough with the nonsense, man. That's crazy.
Yep. It is.
Crazy.
It's absolutely craziness at this point. Let's see here. If you are happy with a manager that does good free agency every 30 years, I guess I don't know what to say to you. Well, are you happy with the Super Bowl? Are you happy with the Super Bowl? Because if you're not happy,
we've been in the playoffs every year. We've been in the playoffs competing every year.
If you're not happy with the Super Bowl, go be a Falcons fan. Go be a Lions fan. Hell, go be a Browns fan. Go be a Bengals fan. If you're not happy with the Super Bowl, if you're not happy with, to steal a line from the media icon TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network, if you're a Bucs fan and you are so unsatisfied with what this team has done the last 5 to 7 years, go away. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391.
Hey, they can go be a Bengals fan. Look what the Bengals GM just did.
Oh,
you
yeah.
just wrapped up half of your salary cap, more than half of your salary cap, and 2 wide receivers. Not addressing the defense. Don't have a home for next year.
Yep.
How's that? You know what I'm saying?
Good. Oh, that's good. Go be a Cleveland Brown fan. I mean, how many quarterbacks? I was teasing somebody today, and I know Harry is a Bears fan. I know Roger is a Bears fan. I know David Ruffalo, Sun Devil Dave, is a Bears fan. That has been a quarterback graveyard when they had a great quarterback. And with all that being said, this guy would sit here and say, Super Bowl doesn't matter. And I know that the Bears out there would want another Super Bowl at this point. They haven't won one since 1985. Okay.
Go look at the top passing leaders. If you can't pull up that stat, anybody watching the show, you want to talk about bad? Go look up the top passing leaders in history. I think they have, this is probably going back to the 30s and 40s. One of their top passing leaders was a left end, I believe, or a tight end.
Yeah.
So, again, enough said.
Yeah, enough said. All right. Let's see here. Light came from the Cards. He did. Nobody thought the team would be great. Absolutely. Jeremiah says, I heard Harry the Greek say first. Number 1 picks all over, didn't do anything for their teams. That's why I said Jamarcus Russell. Well, he was saying first-round quarterbacks that ever were successful because there's no guarantee. People go, well, Jameis Winston was a bust and wasn't successful. How many quarterbacks that are picked number 1 are not successful? That was the point. At the time, you would have taken Jameis Winston over Marcus Mariota. That was the right pick. It didn't work out. Didn't necessarily work out.
Yeah,
yes.
It's again with the whole Jameis Winston thing. At the time, people got to understand. You got to put yourself in the shoes of a GM. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, outside of, I don't know. I can't really think of any good quarterbacks from the Buccaneers. As far as my era goes, we had Sean King, we had Brad Johnson, but they're not really true. Brad Johnson, he was here for a little bit, but the Buccaneers never ever had a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
So as the GM at the time, you see a guy like Jameis Winston on the board. I didn't want him. I would rather have Mariota, but at the same time, yeah, you're gonna go with a guy like Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston was a better quarterback than Mariota. Mariota sucked. Nothing personal.
Yeah, and
Jameis Winston didn't make it in this football team because he was in the wrong offense. The end. He's still in the wrong offense. And unfortunately, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their management and their coaching staff, who is a very dear friend of mine, ruined him. The end. That's what happened. Okay? If a guy wants to throw 30 interceptions in a year, that's a problem, guys. Okay? Run the ball more.
Well, I would say they improved their offensive line with Tristan Wirfs the very next year. They improved their running back situation with Lenny, and I agree. You had to definitely manage his game situation. But I think Jason Light should definitely get credit for, like you said, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They may be the 2 greatest wide receivers of all time in Bucs history. This is what made Tom Brady come here in the first place. He goes, I'm not saying that Jason Light does not do anything right. You haven't said anything that I just said to you. I put it out there. What did he do in 2020? What did he do before 2020? Okay, to make you not like him, and do you enjoy Super Bowl? If you don't enjoy Super Bowl, you don't want to be a Bucs fan, go be a freaking Falcon fan, because I guarantee you they would want one of those Super Bowls. Again, some of you Bucs fans, and I think you're just trolling me, and I know you're trolling me, but some of you Bucs fans really need to get a reality check.
Well, they kind of learned from me how to, smoke you up a little bit. I got a couple more. Can you play some more sound effects, Peter? I mean, I know you like to play with toys.
This David guy just wants some kind of credit for thinking different than others. I hate people like that. I mean, you're not. There's nothing I don't even think he's thinking at this point. Like I've put it out there. Tell me what you didn't like about what Jason Light did to get Tom Brady here. Tell me what you didn't do. Tell me what you did afterwards that you didn't like. Besides Graham freaking Barton. Don't mention Bucky Irving. Don't mention Jalen McMillan. Don't mention Tyke Smith. Don't mention Devin Culp. Don't mention any of those guys. Just mention Graham Barton, okay?
Well, it is our opinion.
Wait, you wanted a guard that was washed up that nobody took. Like you had a fascination or something or fantasy.
To their defense, Peter, they're entitled to an opinion, and that's great.
Sure.
But make it a valid one. That's all we're asking. Make it a valid one. That's all.
All right. So,
otherwise, you're going to make little Louie upset. I mean, that's not good. All right. He's got a long drive. Poor Louie could have an accident. Don't make the guy upset.
We don't want you to have an accident because we got Turnbuckle talk coming up here. We'll have Harry as our special guest.
Whoa, hold up. Turnbuckle?
Yeah, Turnbuckle for WrestleMania 41. Yeah,
doesn't work.
See, that's how that shuts
I'm
you up.
going up the suck right there.
All right, let's see.
The Greek's gonna secretly watch WrestleMania.
I call here. All right, kids, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I call bullshit.
I'm not saying Jason Light doesn't do anything right either. I don't know what you're saying at this point. I feel like Will Ferrell at this point. I don't even know what you just said. Bear Down says Roger Shue. David says, my thing is Jason Light didn't bring Brady to Tampa. We heard it out of Brady's own mouth that another team turned him down for a crappy quarterback, so we got Brady by default. And Brady brought in what the story is. Can I go full screen on this, David? Let me go ahead and set you straight here. This is the deal. Okay, the deal is that there was some type of deal with the Raiders
and the
Bears. And John Gruden said, no, we don't want Tom Brady. Tom Brady chose the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jason Light had a part in that. Bruce Arians had a part in that. Why did Tom Brady choose the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? For the two picks that Jason Light made, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. On top of it, the defensive players that were on this team before Brady got here. So enough with the nonsense of he picked them by default. Enough of this nonsense. I don't want to hear this crap.
Well, there was one other reason you forgot, Peter.
What was the other reason?
His wife really needed to be close to her personal trainer. It was very important.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
All right. Wow. All right. I'm not going there with that. Roger
that was
Shue.
pretty good, though. You have to admit that was pretty good, though.
I like it. This is a spike show tonight.
It is.
And Brady, he likes that young skin now. You know that, right?
Oh, geez. Don't go there.
I'm going up the suck right there.
Let's see here. So, again.
Jason Light had nothing to do with Brady coming to Florida.
Nothing. BA, it was just luck. It was just our year. It was just luck, David. It was just luck there. The two Davids.
Hang on. Ready? Close your eyes.
Yes.
Get a dart.
Yes.
Almost.
It wasn't JPP or
Brady.
Sue. Right. It wasn't David. It wasn't any of the talent they had here. Brady just picked the Bucs by default. They were just that lucky.
I'm going to go ahead and say, listen, I don't think there was anywhere Brady was going to go outside of Tampa Bay where he was going to win a Super Bowl, because he had everything he needed here. Because at the end of the day, you have Chris, you have Mike, you have a pretty good offensive line, you had a really good defense, you had somewhat of a decent running game, and you know damn right that they had those conversations where Brady said, if you want me to play for the Buccaneers, you got to get me Gronk. And they said, no problem.
Listen, Brady doesn't come to Tampa, they don't win a Super Bowl, because he did bring other players. Leonard Fournette wanted to play. You're absolutely correct, Louie. You hit it on the head. I'm one of the most critical players of Tom Brady. I didn't like Bruce Arians, but Tom Brady doesn't come to Tampa. Tampa Bay does not win that Super Bowl. The end.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to agree with the Greek on that one. I mean, it's just, again, I'm a football realist first and then a fan. And again, he's absolutely right, because I don't think, you're not going to throw. I even if you put Jameis Winston back in there for another year with Tristan Wirfs, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl that year. I really don't.
No. They don't win the Super Bowl without him.
Well,
No,
you
I
don't
mean,
get Super Bowl because you don't get Gronkowski and you don't get Brown and you don't get Leonard
Yeah.
Fournette.
No, you don't. You don't get those three.
Nope.
No.
And you don't get that leadership quality that Tom Brady brought to the team. Because let's be real, they didn't look good in the first 6 games of the season.
No,
okay?
absolutely not.
Okay, and it was a whole bunch of let's fucking go, let's go. Peter, I swear to God, you play that again, I'm going to get offline, I'm going to jump in the car, and I'm going to personally shove that so far up. Oh my God.
I'm getting off the suck right there.
Oh my God. Louie, bro, seriously, man, I'm going to fly you from Boston to Tampa.
Whoa.
On my dime. Okay?
What do you hear? What do you say?
On my dime, you're going to come hang at my house, and you and I are going to take a trip on a Friday night, and we're just going to go have a little seance over the top of that soundboard. Okay?
We're going to have a little seance on top of that soundboard.
All right, so let's read more comments here. Nick has more sacks.
Before you go back to your comments,
yes.
Again, and whenever we talk about Tom Brady, the only thing I blame Jason Light for was making him play in that final year. He did not want to play for this organization. I know that's a very unpopular statement that I'm going to make, but it was known that Tom Brady did not want to play for the Buccaneers in that last year, and they held his hands to the fire and says, you know what, you signed the contract and you're going to play.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's the only reason why I didn't like – that's the only move that he had made as a GM that I didn't like. You've already spent money on a draft pick on a quarterback. You didn't know what you had in him. You didn't even kick the tires on him. You had other quarterbacks you could have brought in. It could have been that rebuilding year, but you know what? It ended up working out for the good because Baker ended up coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that.
You probably don't get Baker Mayfield had Tom Brady left and another quarterback came in. Everything happened for a reason. But for those reasons, that was the only mistake, in my opinion, that Jason Light did.
I want to read this comment, and then we'll get out to Roger here. Roger, stand by. Let me read this comment. So I will talk about Tom Brady's year. The only reason why we won was because of Brady was in charge of recruiting and free agency. Light would never sign Fournette or Antonio Brown. They got signed because of Brady. Okay, but what about the other – what about the defensive pieces in JPP, Shaq Barrett, Sue? What about the defense in Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean? What about Antoine Winfield Jr.? None of that counts. Once again, let me go out to this guy right here.
Acknowledge me.
Let's go out to Roger Sue. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I don't like Brady. Never did. If he wasn't here, Bucs wouldn't have won the Super Bowl.
Well, it may be so, but also, once again, and I hate this whole narrative that if he wasn't here, the Bucs don't win. They got a defense. They got a team that was built. They just needed a quarterback to solidify it. Now they got the greatest of all time. I get that. But remember, in the postseason, he didn't play that great, okay? Washington was the exception. Against New Orleans, didn't play that great. Against Green Bay, had a good first half. And against the Chiefs.
Him not playing great is still better than Jameis.
Well, listen, that's true. But also people knew around the league that the defense was set. That defense led the way. So let's just not put this all on. Yes, it was definitely Brady's. Yes, absolutely. You don't win a Super Bowl without Brady, but you also don't win a Super Bowl without your defense. And who built the defense and the team overall? Jason Light, go ahead.
All right, so 2 quick things. I'm going to change teams for a moment. Your blasphemy of the Chicago Bears is atrocious.
I agree.
What, blasphemy of what?
Rex was my quarterback. Caleb is now my quarterback.
Okay, well, I'll raise you. Whoa. Jay Cutler, what did he do? Okay, he was.
Hey, listen, man, Rex was my boy too. Okay, I get it.
Got you to a Super Bowl, but that was on your defense. I'll raise you that, and I'll take Brad Johnson with 22 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Suck it.
Listen, Brad Johnson was in the perfect storm. Rex Grossman could throw farther, run better, pass better, the whole 9 yards. That's what it was. Okay, and I know nobody liked Rex Grossman. Okay, his record proved it because they brought in Kyle Orton. I remember. Purdue.
That's right. The greatness
Sexy
of Kyle
Rexy,
Orton.
baby.
That's right. Well,
Hey, Sexy Rexy. I still got his Peter.
Sexy Rexy.
You're gonna lose a bet, and I'm
Mm.
gonna make you wear a Rex Grossman jersey.
I'm not
and
wearing a
just
Rex
because,
Grossman.
and just because you pissed me off. Swear to God. Then I'm gonna send my boy down there, Louie, an Urlacher shirt, so knock the brains out of you.
Easy now. Louie's not going to do anything like that. Louie's my guy. All right.
Louie, it's okay, Louie. Tell him money talks. Bullshit gets the
walks, right?
bullshit
Hey, we
gets
just
the
entered
stuff.
Virginia. Just entered Virginia.
All right,
You're
man.
in Virginia?
He's in
We're
Virginia.
in Virginia.
All right, Roger, go ahead.
That's pretty much all I got, man. Cubs lost today. There's your Cubs update.
Well, there you go. How about
Hold
this?
on, wait a minute, Roger.
That's the suck right there.
Hey, Roger. So you said you didn't like Brady at all, right?
No,
All right.
Why?
I just
Yeah,
can't.
well, why, I'm just curious. Why was that? Do you think that the team could have succeeded with Jameis Winston? Let's just say, let's
No,
rewind the hands of time.
Absolutely not.
No, he's just
No?
busting your nads. That's all.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let me go out
Well,
to
one
David
thing I
here.
will say is this:
Yes.
a key piece that nobody really talks about. I mean, they do, but they don't really realize is that Rob Gronkowski did a lot. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that first year, he bailed that offense out a big time. You know, he started off slow, but I'll tell you what, he scored 2 touchdowns in that Super Bowl. He did a hell of a job blocking for Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. You know, I think the Buccaneers have the success that they would with Cameron Brate. I don't know. I guess that's up to you guys to answer. But I mean, Rob Gronkowski was a huge contributor to that offense.
Major piece. It acted as an extra offensive lineman to help the human turnstile in Donovan Smith. That can be.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, Roger. Appreciate the call. Anything
Let's
else?
just remember real quickly that Ric Flair still has 8 more world titles than Tom Brady.
Well, he also lost.
Oh my God!
So get out of
Really,
here,
bro? Seriously, I could tell you're an outsider.
How about this?
That's good enough to suck right there.
I'm just hanging up on people tonight. I'm not even
Roger,
speaking with you
you're
anymore.
such a Northsider, man. He really is.
He's just the biggest homer of all time. But y'all love it. All right, let's see here. So I will talk about Tom Brady. The only reason why you won, Brady was in charge of recruiting and free agency. Light would never sign Fournette or Antonio Brown. They got signed because of Brady. Light signed away in 2000 because the pressure was all on Brady. I don't even know what you're talking about at this point. Light is afraid to sign free agents. Why he sucks in free agencies. Shaq Barrett is no good. JPP is no good. Ryan Jensen is no good. Okay. That's why
JPP was no good. Wow.
Well, no, he says he signed in free agency. He was afraid of free agency. Shaq Barrett, Ryan Jensen come to mind. Were they not good?
I mean, people see it. That's another thing, too. If you're going to sit here and say these things, you better have the research to back it up.
None.
Because Shaq Barrett, he came in here on a 1-year prove-it deal, and he put up 19 and a half sacks.
19.
Regardless of the
And
second
what did he do
year,
after that? Just
Well,
out of curiosity. He was the guy that was the epitome of almost.
Well,
yeah, but I mean, you gotta, in my opinion,
Ray
what did he have,
Kennedy knows
11
what I'm
sacks
talking
his second
about.
year? 11 sacks his second year, I believe.
Yeah, and he almost
All right.
got to the quarterback after that. Almost.
Yeah, well,
He's creating
this
that
is-
pressure.
No, I get it, but the thing is, a lot of people don't understand with his last couple of years with the Buccaneers. I mean, he was banged up. Not only that, he lost a child that final year, and that again, as a father, that sucks. And I commend him for doing what he did, going out there, and that's not not a 7-year-old. The child was 2 years old.
Oh my God! Now you got me there. Now I feel like an ass for even saying what
No,
I said.
no, it's all right.
No,
That's why.
I mean,
That's
listen.
why I say like that last couple of years, that last year, man, that was tough for him to play. But you know what? I give him the utmost respect for doing what he did. Maybe he just needed to do that to get his mind off of things, which I don't blame him.
Right. And not only that, not only do you lose a young child, but you also have a major injury, which slows you down. Look, father time is undefeated. But Shaq was definitely a big part of that Super Bowl run and would be a part of that postseason that would get after Aaron Rodgers, get after Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl. Do I think he was – you can't go 19 and a half sacks every year, but was it impressive for that 1 year? Absolutely. But once again, this is a Jason Light free agency pickup. Ryan Jensen is a Jason Light free agency pickup, and this guy goes We would have never won if Brady wasn't here, period. Okay, well, easy to say that, genius, but you just said that Jason Light is afraid to sign free agents. All right, let's go. Hey, this David doesn't agree with the other David, just so you know. I see Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy in there. I see Curtis in here. Curtis, stand by. Let me go out to Tampa Bay Ray right here.
Mr.
And listen, just for here, you're right here.
Let's go!
Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay.
Hey Ray, are you still selling that?
Still selling that speaker there, Ray?
They're still hot, so
yes.
make an offer.
Selling them out of the back of your truck there. Welcome to the Evolution. What's on your mind tonight, boss?
Are you talking about Shaq? Oh, go ahead,
Hold
Curtis.
on, Curtis. Go ahead.
Barrett, I respect that with everything being said about the last season, but we also lost JPP. And you know what? They can say whatever you want to about JPP. He was going to produce pressure. And that's why him and Shaq Barrett were so good together.
Well, listen, this guy right here has said that Jason Light's not a very good GM, that he's afraid in free agency, that he's not a good drafter. And what I've said is, if you don't want that Super Bowl, go be a Falcon or Detroit Lion fan, or go be a Cincinnati Bengal fan. I mean, again, he's just trolling.
For some people, 420 started early, and some people put a little extra in there 420. So
Right. Let me go on to this pick. Let me go. Hold on, Curtis.
The proof
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
proof is in the pudding when it comes to Jason Light.
Right. Well, I mean, again,
can we say terrible picks like Roberto Aguayo? Of course you can. But you can say that about every team. Every team has made terrible picks.
Well, Curtis, I'm glad you said that, because he reaches in second, gets Roberto Aguayo, the leader in field goal percentages and made points coming out of FSU. So he's a Florida guy. His parents are right there in Orlando. He's a good story, a Florida State guy, but a good story made good. And the Buccaneers' biggest problem since Matt Bryant was that kicker position. So he takes a big swing at the second. It's an inspirational pick. You're right, he missed, but I will never fault Jason Light for that, because, guys, was there anything more problem with this team for the 10 years leading up to when we finally got our kicker's position filled out than that kicker position and being able to get those last-minute points?
by the way, who picked Ryan Suckup in free agency? Yeah, Jason Light.
Well,
all right, go ahead.
Thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. As a GM, your job is to try to put the best team together.
Right.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do is try.
That's it.
I mean, and guess what? You're going to have some good. You're going to have some bad.
Yes.
I mean, it just happens.
Yes.
And guess what? Fortunately for the Bucs, they've had more good than bad.
Right. Agree.
And people. The problem is people tend to focus on the negative instead of the positive.
Well, this guy just hates Jason Light. He hates the Graham Barton. When you watched Graham Barton last year, did you think he was a terrible center?
Jesus. No, absolutely not.
I mean, did you think he solidified the offensive line?
I mean, let me tell you something. Go ask Bucky Irvin. Matter of fact, don't ask Bucky Irvin. Ask Rashard White what the offensive line looked like from last year to the year before.
Right.
Go ask Rashard White.
And this guy wanted the same center to be there, and he wanted to move Barton to guard because he's a Madden GM. He knows. He knows, man. He's got Chase Young, $17 million. You'd rather pay him over instant production with Hassan Reddick, who had 50.9 sacks. But that's an overpay. I get it. All right, Curtis, what else? We got some feedback there, Louie. Stand by. I'm just going to keep his sound down there. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Hassan Reddick, you think we're the only team that was beating down the door for that guy?
Oh, hell no.
No. You know why you chose Tampa Bay?
There weren't many teams beating down that door. Let me be clear, and I know that for a fact. There was only a handful of teams because of the antics, unfortunately, that he played with the Jets. Okay? Mm-hmm. Nobody likes a cancerous locker room. But this team, with this management group, feels that they can straighten him out.
Well, Harry,
not many ball clubs in the National Football League that can do that, okay, with a locker room presence. You know, just imagine him acting like the fool with Vita Vea sitting next to him. That's all I want you to do. Or Levante David.
That's another draft pick that Jason Light had.
Oh,
Vita
yeah,
Vea.
but
Is that good? Is that a good
I
pick?
feel like here's the
Zuzman.
thing.
Well, wait. David Zuzman. Vita Vea. Was that a good pick? Just
Horrible.
checking. Horrible pick. Terrible pick. Terrible.
at the time, nobody thought we needed a nose guard. Nobody thought we needed a nose guard. Everybody wanted a defensive back out of Florida State to match up with James because they were friends. Derwin James, but I mean, at the end of the day, he goes and gets Vita Vea, and Vita Vea is the anchor of this defensive line. Whether you want to go inside out or outside in, Vita Vea is your leader on that defensive line, and he continues to be.
There you go. But that was a bad pick. That was a bad draft pick by Jason Light. You'll probably go back to Vernon Hargraves. You'll probably tell me Vernon Hargraves from like 16 or 17. Is that your Jason Light hatred?
Who doesn't take bad draft picks, man?
Thank you.
Everybody takes freaking bad.
Thank you.
Ask Kansas City where Clyde Edwards-Helaire is right now.
Where's he at? What's he doing?
I think I saw him selling hot dogs on a corner.
Ask the Raiders where any of their first round picks are for the last 10 years.
I mean, nobody knows. Nobody knows at this point.
I'm serious right now.
Right.
Like these people are so delusional nowadays. I'm like,
this guy wants to call in. This guy wants
I'll
to
give it to
call
him.
in.
Brother, give us
in.
a call. 727-255-0391. All you got to do is look at the bottom of the screen where it says call in.
Let him call in and say whatever he has to say.
It's fine. Let him call.
Yeah, let him call in. All right, Curtis.
It's
What else?
Joe
is
Shane, the general manager of the Giants. He's just trying to throw shade on Jason.
I'm hanging up, but I want to hear what he has to say.
Okay. All right, Curtis. Appreciate the call.
Guys,
All right. Love you too, brother.
Can I go back to that point Harry made? Harry, you were right. I don't think there were a plethora, Leo word, of teams lining up for
Not
Hassan.
plethora. Here's
That's
your.
good enough for
Plethora. Okay, plethora. But there wasn't a lot of teams. There wasn't a plethora of teams lining up for Hassan Reddick because you're right, Harry. You hit the ball twice in the same shot. If you'd have been playing a Master Sunday, you'd have beat Rory because there's not a lot of locker rooms in the NFL currently as strong as this Buccaneers locker room. People compare the Kansas City Chiefs and, under Andy Reid and stuff like that. But yeah, right. The Bucs locker room can intake a player like that. But at the same time, I don't want to see a Jalen Ramsey from Miami at $21 million a year. We can intake some guys that want to step up, but I don't need to make it a $21 million a year financial sacrifice to take a chance on a player. Hassan's coming here to prove it. Now, I'd be remiss if Hassan doesn't sign a second contract in 2026.
Yeah, that we got to update here. Rays do lose tough one 1-0 to the Red Sox. So the Red Sox win that series. I believe somebody is calling in. I believe this is him. Is this realtor David Zuzman?
That's me.
Okay.
What's up, David? What's on your mind, buddy?
Okay, so what's on my mind? So here is, please don't get me wrong, but I'm not a troll, and I'm not having this conversation because I just want to stir controversy. It's just for me the fact that I just see most of the Bucs fans as homers because I understand for a very long time we just couldn't win.
Right.
And I think that right now we are just settling for bad management.
The bad management. So you're. Oh, wait a minute. You think? Okay.
Let him finish. I want to.
No, I want to stop him here. He said bad management. Okay.
Yes.
So bad.
Okay.
Hold on. No. Hold on. Stop right. Really no. Stop right there. Bad management. I'm going to stop you right there, and I'll let you continue. Yeah. We'll allow you to have the call. You're saying bad management. So four straight NFC South titles is bad management. A Super Bowl. Hold on. In the last 5 years is bad management. Getting players to come in here, be Pro Bowlers, be productive, getting Baker Mayfield, getting him, re-signing your own players like a Mike Evans, Tristan Wirfs, Baker Mayfield, Antoine Winfield Jr. That's bad management. Let me ask you something. Were you a fan when Hugh Culverhouse was here as an owner?
I don't think he's old enough.
He's too young. I can hear it.
Okay. That, my friend, is bad management. When you look at playoffs over and over again, for over 10 straight years, when you draft bust after bust after bust, that's bad management. When you don't spend money, that's bad management. When you have a revolving door of coaches coming in and out, my friend, that is bad management. When you can't watch a Bucs home game because it gets blacked out, that is bad management. What Jason Light and crew have done here the last 5 to 7 years That's not bad management.
He may have a different opinion on
Go for
something that's happened that
for
he's
it.
thinking was bad management. I'd
But
like
I
to hear
gotta
the
stop
rest
you
of his
there.
comment.
Bad management is what Hugh Culverhouse and the Bucs did in the 80s and before Tony Dungy got here, when Culverhouse relinquished control of the team. That's bad management. What you're talking about at this point, I don't even know what you're talking about. So go ahead, finish your point.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, David.
Oh, I know. That's okay. Yeah. So, in the end of the day, I think it's always relative to where the team is at the moment, right? So, for example, when it comes to, let's take the playoffs that we completely demolished the Eagles.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We did really great. We had a superior team. Okay. And what did Roseman do during the offseason with the Eagles that Jason Light didn't do? So that we struggle all year without a middle linebacker.
You had injuries.
Cornerback.
You had injuries. Injuries happen. I mean, you can't do everything. You can't get every player to fill your depth positions. Again, I'm not saying Jason Light did everything correctly.
I agree.
But there's
I agree
injuries.
with you.
Okay.
You still made
the playoffs at 10-7. So that's still bad management.
But hold on a second. So now I'm going to explain why I think it's bad management. I think the problem with Jason Light, is that instead of using free agency to pick key players to fill positions of need that needs to be filled immediately, he struggles with that, and he relies too much on the draft to make and build the roster. And then what happens with that? Because he's always relying solely on the roster to build on the draft to build the team, then we tend to use our premium picks, especially first and second round, in a very stupid way. So, for example, when I was complaining
he's making some points. I mean, he's around the edges, but keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So in the end of the day, what I wish that Jason Light would do for him to be the best general manager in the NFL is for him to take advantage of free agency. So, for example, this year, we know that no matter who you pick at middle linebacker in the draft, it will not be an impactful player for the next 2 years. But we have an immediate need to have a middle linebacker because we got cooked all year last year with KJ Britt. And Lavonte David is getting old. So, knowing of that, Jason Light should have signed a middle linebacker.
Good. I'm glad he said that twice. David, I'm going to cut you off real quick on here, and I just need to interject. Don't put us back to a 4 spot here. Because this is going to be a question and answer. You're right. They should have gotten other players, especially for last year, because they probably could have made a deeper playoff push. But I've got $1 million question for you, and you seem like a very intelligent person. Yeah. You're very articulate with your comments, and and if anybody can appreciate it, it's me, because I'm usually the class clown on here. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
Are you crazy? Where the hell were they going to get that money from to go ahead and sign anybody? They had no money to spend.
Tom Brady cap hell. They were in Tom Brady cap.
They were in cap hell with that, Dave.
That's supposed to be.
So how in the world were they supposed to sign anybody? So let me throw this out there. What player did you want to see? Right now. Lavonte David was getting old. Who are you, or KJ Britt? Who were you going to get to replace KJ Britt last year? Just throw a name out there.
Okay, so I'll throw the name right now. So first of all, you said it's a $1 million question. No, it's more like a $22 million question. Do you know why?
Without question.
Because Jason Light, he waited until OTA's minicamp started to finally resign Wirfs. When that happened, we cleared $22 million in cap space. So,
yes, they did. And by the way, 2 years prior, hold on. 2 years prior, they also re-signed all 23 players, which has never been done in NFL history.
Okay, that's okay. But if he had only done what the Lions did with Penei Sewell, we would have $22 million in the beginning of free agency.
Not necessarily.
I got one last part of this piece.
Hold on a second. And we would have plenty of options at middle linebacker, just like the Eagles did. So the Eagles, they picked Bond for a very cheap contract, and he was a very impactful player. We got Nobody. We got no middle
They
linebacker
went with KJ
whatsoever.
Brett because of what they saw from the year before.
That's right. KJ Britt had a lot of potential. He
Right.
just so happened to have a bad year last year. So name me that player that
Well,
they
he said-
could
he
have
said
got
Bond.
last year.
Yeah. So I just say Bond, but
Bond?
I could have I could have been a little bit more conservative. So the guy who went to the Steelers that used to play along with the oh gosh, what's his name again?
Come on, Louie, help us out here.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, Lord.
No, what was his name, Louie? The
What
guy that
was
went
it?
to the Steelers?
The Ravens. The Ravens.
Was it
they
Bud
had
Dupree?
really good- No, they had two really good middle line.
Oh, you're
linebackers.
talking about the line.
And the other one left.
You're talking about the linebacker from Chicago who they could have traded for.
No.
Roquan Smith?
No, Roquan Smith used to play with another one playing for the Ravens. What was the name of the other one that left last year and was available at free agency?
Michael Bush.
No.
Went to San Diego.
No.
Okay,
Well,
well,
trust
what-
me, if you've got the four
Queen?
of us on this panel that
Queen?
can't figure out who it was,
Is it Queen? Are you talking about Patrick Queen?
Yes,
Patrick
yes,
Queen. There you go.
yes.
okay.
Patrick Queen.
And
Yes.
how much did he sign for, just out of curiosity?
How much did he sign for?
I believe he signed for $14 million.
Okay, well, at the time, again, the Bucs didn't have most likely the cap, and whether they would have signed Tristan Wirfs early or not, they still most likely didn't have the cap because guess what? They had to re-sign Antoine Winfield Jr. They put
Buddy, I got bad
signing
news for you. They
players.
almost weren't able to sign Tristan Wirfs. This
Yes.
team almost lost Tristan Wirfs.
Yes.
That's why it took so long to be able to retain him. That's what good management does for you, Dave. That's just my opinion. Listen, I understand where you're coming from. I just think your opinion is a little off base because I don't think you understood what the cap space was like. They just didn't have the money to go out and play it. And when you had a player like KJ Britt from the year before show the promise that he had, there was no reason to go out there and get one. You know what? That was a small mistake, but they still couldn't go out to get anybody. Let me explain to you another thing. This is coming from a guy that's played baseball, football, not soccer. Okay, so try to understand where I'm coming from on this. No disrespect.
No, I
To
get it.
play football in the middle part of the year, you're going to take another player from another team and bring him to your organization. You ain't going to plug and play him, especially at that linebacker position, who in large is going to be the general of your defense. Ray, you played the position.
Okay.
Tell him how hard it is to bring someone in the middle of the season to play the field general on the defensive side.
Well,
You
and
know who I
that's
wish
just
was on? Blake Anthony. He played linebacker. He'd be able to tell you. Go
I
ahead,
played
Dave.
linebacker after I got switched from quarterback early, but I'll tell you, Dave, I agree with a lot of things you said. You're making some good. We could have used some middle help there last year. The way the teams were passing over the middle and getting those pickup yards.
Couldn't afford it.
But the biggest point you made, the first point you made, Dave, going in was you said that he keeps his own players and he doesn't sign free agents. I'll
That's
tell
a
you
good
though, that the mark of a great GM is the fact. Look at our draft in 2024 going into last season, as we're so excited for the 2025 draft, which starts next Thursday. We hit it out of the ballpark. There's not a team in the NFL. We had everybody's like, oh, they got a B or an A. They addressed the need. The Bucs had an A+ draft in 2024 because I think everyone who was drafted made the team, and I think most of them made impact. So your argument, I mean, you made some great points, but your argument as far as Jason Light being a bad GM, it lost its sauce right there when you said that, they don't sign free agents. Teams that are desperate sign free agents because they miss in the draft, and that's the reason why
Green
the
Bay
Bucs-
doesn't sign free agents. You know
Well-
who typically signs free agents, David, are bad football teams. And I'm embarrassed to say it. If the Chicago Bears this year don't make a splash and make the playoffs and win a playoff game this season, it will be considered a failure. And this is a team that has bought a football team to surround that quarterback. They are ready to win. But, hey, the fans are not going to sit there and wait for everything to gel together. It's not that easy to play the offensive line, okay, in the National Football League. So, with that, I appreciate the phone call, Peter, unless you got something else for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's more than. Go
I
ahead.
would like to say one thing.
Let me just say something really quick.
Yes.
So what I would like to say is like this. So I agree, especially with the last commentary. The only thing that I want to say is like this. If you want to build a Super Bowl roster or a dynasty, you are not going to do this only through the draft, and you need to do a good job
Oh my God,
free agency.
Leo's in the back room.
Well, hold on a second. So I was talking about middle linebacker, but don't forget, last year we had Thunderberg and Christian.
And he had Josh Hayes.
We had horrible edges playing for the team. So let's not get the wrong notion that we prepared ourselves to have a successful season last year because we didn't.
Let me ask you something. A successful season is 10 wins. We're winning the NFC South. That's not successful enough?
Okay, so like
no. I'm gonna go full screen on this, and I want to know your answer. I'm asking you simple question: yes or no? 10-7, winning the NFC South. That's not successful enough.
No, it's not.
Why is that
on a team that was supposed to be rebuilding, according to every pundit
right
in the country that does any advertisement? Do you realize this, sir? That the Las Vegas odds had this team at 7 wins.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Okay.
Did you also know that this team, I got almost 5-1 on my money through Vegas, which I'm going to be cashing that check here real soon, to win the NFC South? Let me tell you something. Teams that are expected to be good, you don't get 5-1 on your money.
No, you don't get
So think very, very hard on that answer when he asks you that.
To your point, you said that a team or a dynasty is not built through free agent or not built to the draft alone. So when Jason Light went after JPP and Sue and Shaq Barrett and went in the draft and got Winfield Jr.
Right.
Okay, and they won a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, he did it right. Yeah.
How many?
But he did this once in 14 years.
Okay, but he still won one.
Yeah.
Okay, so he won a Super Bowl.
So he did one good free season.
It's one really good one. You probably would have listened. You probably would have had 2.
I have to tell you, I enjoyed this phone call.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't think he likes Jason Light very much. I think his point is you like to see it more consistently. But let me tell you something, man. You can't do it every year, but they were close to doing it 2 years in a row because if you remember correctly, they don't lose Tristan Wirfs, so they don't lose Antonio Brown. He doesn't quit on this team. More than likely, you win 2 Super Bowls in a row. I tell you what, I'm putting an olive branch out there. You become a caller. We'll agree to disagree. Good caller. I appreciate the call, and you're more than welcome to call this show anytime you want to, okay?
Okay. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Call back if you like. Second call. All right. Let me get out to Sun Devil Dave. And then hold on a minute, Dave. Call back a little. Stand by. Let me go ahead and get this guy on here because we had a full deck here. Louie, I know you're traveling. Stand by.
Book him, Dano.
The legend himself. Let me go out to Mr. Leo Haggerty right there. Get him on. Leo is dead. He just went to sleep.
I'm on? Oh,
yes,
God.
You're on. All right. So we've been having a conversation tonight. One of our callers, new callers, I appreciate
Little Leo.
The debate. We shut up and be quiet. That's what you get. That's what you get. Keep on interrupting me. Leo, we had a conversation tonight where there is a new webhead who does not like what Jason Light has done in the draft. Can you go ahead and break this down for us? So what do you think overall what Light has done? Is it fair to say he hasn't done enough in the draft? How difficult is it, because you've been a scout before, to keep a team intact and sign your own players and go on free agency? Welcome to the evolution.
It's not happening, guys. Not now. Not with free agency and not with that. I think the most amazing thing done by a general manager or an organization is Buffalo getting to 4 straight Super Bowls. They didn't win any, but they got there.
Right.
You know,
They weren't successful, though.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what. As long as you're getting home playoff games, ownership's going to be happy with you. I can't remember any coach being fired with having a home playoff game. And you know what? This is not easy to do. The fact that Kansas City did it back-to-back and got to a third, that's amazing.
Right.
So the key is, what's your expectation? Yeah, 32 teams go in and say, we want to bring the Super Bowl. Okay, what's your realistic expectation? Realistically, let's win the South. Realistically, let's go 1 game further than last year. Okay, let's get past wild card weekend. Then when you get there, now you have to go to the next level. This is a stepping stone. You don't see that happening. And you know what? The good news for the Bucs is let's take the Eagles. They got embarrassed last year by Tampa Bay.
That was his point. That was his point, by the way. He said that this general manager did not do enough, that Howie Roseman did more by going up and picking up Zach Bond, which he was correct about because Bond was a find. He definitely solidified that middle linebacker situation, and that Roseman did more than Jason Light. And my point is that even if you plan for that, the Bucs had multiple injuries defensively and offensively that you can't necessarily plan for, especially when you lose two of your top wide receivers and your offense is still top 3 in the league.
And you still won the South.
Right.
That's the first goal. Win your division. There's no sense doing anything else. You're not playing for a wild card. You just may get in.
Right.
But you want to win your division. So the first thing the Buccaneers need to plan for, and I guarantee you this is what's going through Jason Light, his scouts, his coaching staff. How do we beat Carolina, New Orleans, and Atlanta? How do we do that?
How do we win 6 games?
Yeah, that's the first goal. We got to have that happen. The second thing is then how do we beat Detroit, Los Angeles, Philadelphia? How do we get to the Super Bowl? Not win it. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And this is not something easy. You know how many Super Bowl trophies there are in Detroit, guys? Nada.
Zero. Yep.
And you know what? They won't be winning one anytime soon because he did mention, look at what Detroit did. Yeah, let me tell you what Detroit did. They got really bad really quick. That defense is hurt.
Oh,
Aiden
yeah.
Hutchinson may not be the same player. You've lost 2 of their best coaches. You're talking about a playoff window, or you're talking about a Super Bowl window. It went from this big to about that big.
Pretty big problems over there.
Yes.
Okay, that's a problem. Listen, gentlemen, I'm on a pitch clock. You know, sorry, Ray's telling me I got to get off. I got to bring in the lefty. But you know what? I want you guys to enjoy yourself this evening. Louie, you're a trooper, man. Love the fact that you're driving through Virginia. Just don't stop. Trust me.
Oh, I'm not stopping.
Not through Virginia, senor. No.
All right.
Lovers, come on.
I'm gonna let Louie. I'm gonna let you go with the rest of the crew from Deliverance, and I hope you guys have a great evening, man. And we'll talk to you later. And you know what? Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned at 10:20 for a big episode of Turnbuckle Talk with my boy Ralph Wlliams. I see him in the back room. I got to say deuces to your brother. But you know what? For more Buccaneers coverage and Bears coverage, I'll be back Monday.
Well, listen, I got to ask you something. Really, who do you want? Who do you think's going to win WrestleMania 41? Cody Rhodes or John Cena?
Who? I'd like to ask Louie, who do you like? Is that Cena? That guy Cena? Is that the big dude with the muscles, right?
The big guy with the muscles with the bald spot in the back.
Oh yeah. He's a cinch, bro.
He's a heel. He's gonna lose. You gotta let Dusty. You gotta let.
Thanks a lot for the Turnbuckle talk, Harry. We appreciate you.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Harry's
you know what?
got to go and watch the Bulls get demolished here. This is
Watch who? Basketball?
Oh God, it's terrible.
What is it? Is it playoff basketball already?
Playing basketball. It's play-in.
To give you an idea, I don't like today's basketball games.
No. All right.
No, but the Magic are going to give the Boston Celtics a run here in the first round.
Orlando Magic.
Good.
Orlando Magic.
Orlando Magic.
Oh,
you know, Peter, I got to tell you, man, you are a real homer, man.
Orlando
Magic. You really are.
Oh, watch this. Watch. Hold on. Ready?
Homer.
Louie?
That's great enough to suck right there!
Louie, I know you can hear me. All I want you to do is hit me up on Facebook.
That's great enough to suck right there!
Friend request me. I'm going to give you my phone number because your ass is coming to Florida. We're doing this.
Yeah. How about you? Happy Easter, my friend.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Let's go! go!
Peter, Jamie just said, quote unquote, you have to come over sometime.
Oh, wait, Harry, you making hot dogs?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for Peter, hot dogs with ketchup on them.
That's good enough to suck right there!
Hey Peter, this is for you, buddy.
There
you go.
God. All right, see you later.
God.
Get out.
See you guys.
Peace,
Oh,
buddy.
my God. Peter, I had a line for that would have got you taken off by the FCC. So
Yes,
I'm not gonna say anything.
All right, we got to get out to the phone lines here. Let me get out to Sun Devil Dave. Dave, thank you very much for being patient. Welcome to the Evolution. Yes, great job.
Hey, these guys got to lay off on Jason Light. You look at everything he's done, a lot of neutral publications, not the Pewter Plank or any, Bucs favored publications. They all have Jason Light top 5 in the draft class. He was top 5 in off-season moves by ESPN experts.
Correct.
This guy does a great job. All this stuff, he didn't pick up somebody like the Eagles did and everything else. Look, the Bucs and the Commanders were the 2 best teams going to the playoffs as far as statistics. They were the 2 hottest teams. The Bucs just happened to play the hottest team, the Commanders.
Yeah.
And you saw the Commanders, they dismantled the Lions, who were selected to go to the Super Bowl, right?
Correct.
They destroyed the Lions. So
Yes.
let's lay off Jason Light. Let's appreciate for what he's done. And this is coming from, casual Bucs fan, since, I'm a Bears fan. But I love both the Bucs and the Bears, but he's done a tremendous job. And everyone needs to chill the F out and appreciate what he's done. Baker Mayfield is going to win a Super Bowl with the Bucs.
Love it.
That's what's going to happen.
I love it, man.
I see Mr. Haggerty's on the line here.
Yeah, Mr. Haggerty is on the line here. So
I have to talk about something. I need some help, Mr. Haggerty.
All right, Leo, he needs
I'm
your
a big
help
Bobby
here.
Hurley fan. Real quick, Bobby Hurley's coming back next season to the Devils. He's basically lost his entire draft class from last year. Jaden Quinton's transferred. Jason Sannon. They lost B.J. Freeman. He decided to transfer to the portal. So I need your help. What do college coaches do to handle this? Because everything he did to have a top 5 recruiting class is all gone now. He has to rebuild. So what's the be all end all of this portal stuff? And how
That's a great question, because the NCAA, and again, go to my Amped Up Sports. I did a couple on this. Okay. The first thing is they got to control the date of when these people are getting into the portal, especially for football and basketball. Football's still playing. Basketball's still playing, and people are getting in the portal. The Drake kid was in 12 minutes after they lost. I mean, that's unheard of. The second thing is they can't allow more than one free move. When you have a second move, the only way you get a second free move is if your coach leaves. Now you can move. But let's say I start at Arizona. Let's say I start at Colorado, and then I go to Arizona State. If I'm going to move a second time, I got to sit a year. And the NCAA has got to grow a pair and go up and do this, because it is completely out of control. Look what happened at Tennessee over the weekend. The quarterback just said, "You're not paying me enough. I'm not coming to practice."
Right.
You know what? Tennessee coach comes out and says, "One player isn't bigger than us." Hey, when they're 6-6 next year, let's see if that tune changes.
Well, listen, there was also, Leo, there was also talk of players holding out for the playoffs, because playoffs, Ray, because they're not getting paid. So this could be a problem going down the road here, with players getting the idea they can hold out for NIL. This is what you open up with Pandora's box.
Well,
Peter, can I ask Leo?
If it's written in the contract, and that's the thing. I don't think these kids realize. And remember, Shedeur Sanders said he was broke. I think what happened is these kids aren't figuring out, you got to pay taxes on this, and the government's going after that.
Well, Leo, can I ask you a question? though? You said that. I'm sorry, Leo. I want to ask you, because I genuinely wanted to ask you this question. You said about the NCAA or whatever the governing body for the college football will be moving forward to grow a pair. What's going to happen first? Is the NCAA going to grow a pair and set these things right? Or are we going to get a collective bargaining agreement with college football and basically making college football pro football for all intents and purposes?
Ray, let me answer that because
Well-
I had an interesting conversation.
Leo, can you hold that thought? Let's go out.
No, I can't. But go ahead, Peter.
Leo, hold that thought. Let me go out to the phone lines here. Let's see what Mr. Alex has to say, and then we'll go back to that in just a moment. But Alex, what's on your mind?
Yeah, so I was going to swing out and talk some Rays, but we lost 1-0 tonight. So, yeah, the Rays had some great pitching tonight, just couldn't get that hit. We did lose to the Sox tonight. We lost this year. It's going to be an interesting year. But I wanted to go back to some Bucs conversation real quick. I talked about a little bit ago, but I want to remind people after watching the show tonight, and I want to kind of backstory of what Harry said before he left.
Go ahead.
What people are forgetting, and I want to remind it one more time, and I said it earlier, I want to say it again. People are forgetting that what Jason, just getting Tom Brady in here alone, do you know how hard that is? Do you know how hard that is to get out of all the teams Brady could have went to, he chose the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So just to get him in here and rebuild a roster for the first year during everything was going on at the time, during a COVID year, X, Y, and Z. There's so much going on during the 2020-21 campaign. But all of that to people still forget that Tom Brady left the Bucs in cap space hell. People are forgetting that. People want us to go and win back-to-back Super Bowl champions. We could have technically won it in 2021, the following year, because we were pretty close. You said earlier, guys like Antonio
Brown quit,
Brown,
and Tristan Wirfs got hurt, and Chris Godwin got hurt.
We lost some injuries.
Zero coverage.
Right.
Yes, we could have went back-to-back, but for where we are today, what Jason Light has done in the draft is extraordinary on a rebuilding year.
Yes.
Jalen McMillan, what he did. Bucky Irving again. Let's remind you guys, 1,000 yards as a rookie. What more? I'm confused at what these fans are asking for when you are in a rebuilding year. You still won your division, by the way, which, by the way, don't ever underestimate the NFC South, because the NFC South is always going to be a very tough division. I don't care what year. I don't care X, Y, and Z. I don't care that Derek Carr is probably out for the season. The Saints are going to be tough this year. It is what it is. It's part of the National Football League.
Right.
But hats off to Jason for what he does. Now, what he's going to do this year in the draft, I don't know. But, man, I listened to a lot of hate tonight towards Jason, and it's man, I just want y'all to know that for me, as a diehard Bucs fan and as a diehard Tampa Bay sports fan in general of the Bucs, Rays, and Bolts,
and Rowdies,
I'm disappointed to hear it's ungratefulness, bro. Like, fans have to be grateful. Yes, we got a Super Bowl. We got to go in here.
Yeah.
Got us to a Super Bowl win. Got Gronk in here. Got some big names in here.
Sure.
But I think turned the franchise around and put our name up on top of the map.
Absolutely.
Now we have to rebuild that. We got Baker Mayfield, who's a GOAT, in my opinion, and what he can do. And I really do believe that if Jason Light can draft the right pieces in the defense, because I think the defense is where we struggled last year. I think our offense is great. I think where we are in the running game, the wide receiver with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin hopefully coming back healthy, and all these pieces. We got Jalen McMillan going to come back. He's probably going to ball out again. Some big names. I'm telling you, bro, work on that secondary. Get some edge rushers, and I promise you, these Bucs fans that are complaining, crybabies, a bunch of babies, or ungrateful babies that are complaining about one of the best GMs in the National Football League, will not be saying nothing else.
Good stuff, Alex. Appreciate the call as always. I mean, he came strong on the mic. Leo, this is what this guy had to say. Roseman trade up twice to the draft, get two amazing cornerbacks, signed Saquon, Mekhi Becton, Bond, CJ Gardner in free agency. Eagles won the Super Bowl because Roseman tackled all places draft and free agency. Is that a fair assessment, Leo?
And they stayed healthy.
Right.
That's the one thing we don't talk about. You don't win the Super Bowl without being healthy. I'm going to check everybody's memory right now. When the Bucs won their first Super Bowl, 21 of 22 starters that went out there week one got on the field to start the Super Bowl. Who was the one guy that didn't?
Wait, 21 of 22 starters.
Kappa was the guy. He's talking about the 2020 Super Bowl, 20 out of 21. The guy who did that.
They beat the Raiders.
Yep, that's correct.
Beat the Raiders. He's okay.
Oh, they beat the Raiders. You're talking about
37.
37.
Right.
Okay, my bad. Oh,
one guy.
Oh, Booger McFarland.
That's exactly right.
Peter,
Peter,
nice.
I'm going to go after the Buccaneers myself right now for a different reason. They're putting together a 50-year anniversary video, right? The fact that they don't talk to the one media guy who predicted them to beat Philly in Philly and then to demolish the Raiders in the Super Bowl right here.
There you go.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Peter,
that they're not even going to the guy who said they were going to beat Philly and then go out and there's only one other person that said they were going to beat the Raiders bad, and that was Tony Dungy. We both went on the radio. We both went on record and saying, hey, and JT the Brick with Fox, I was on. I said, this game's going to be a blowout. He said, oh, the Raiders are going to. No, it's the other way around. JT the Brick said, if you're right, you're my first guest on Monday night. I was getting off the plane from San Diego. Phone rang. JT's ready for you. Okay. But yeah, winning a Super Bowl, think about this now. Just go to other sports. The Lightning went back to back. That was the first time since Pittsburgh 20 years ago. When's the last time? I mean, the fact that Kansas City was going for a three-peat, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
So again, you judge it by home playoff games because you keep your owner happy by making them money.
That's it. All right, let's go out to the comments really quick here. David says, to me, JPP is one of the best free agent pickups in Buccaneer history. He brought the dog back to the defense. Agree with that. David says, how long did White last in Tampa Bay after his BS? Couple years there, but remember, he was a big part of that Super Bowl run, especially versus the Saints in that game, was one of the top middle linebackers. And after that, who knows? Injuries, attitude, of course, Rays lost. Bad management is whenever you can go to Publix, spend $10, and they give you 2 Buccaneer tickets. That's when the Buccaneers have bad management. That's exactly what I was talking about, David. That's why you're old school. That's why I like that, man. Dave, that's why I love you, brother. Packers have done pretty good with drafting good players. Christopher Cole, Savasier Dennis, a combination of injuries and some underachieving seasons with certain defensive players. The only thing I think Jason is bad at drafting is edge rushers, telling Todd Bowles that he can't keep running zone defense. So edge rushers, that may be the biggest need. They may address that at 19. They may go safety or corner. Let me keep on reading the comments, and then Ray, I'll get out to you. Dennis got injured. Yes. RW Media. We read that comment. Good stuff there. Where's Ralph? Ralph is coming on here in just a little bit. We had to push back Turnbuckle talk. Sorry about that, Ralph. Thank you for being patient. I said, Cody, do some more of those sounds. Free agency has won both Super Bowls for the Buccaneers. Mike Alstott is the only non-free agent Buccaneer to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl versus the Buccaneers on offense. That is correct. Keenan McCardell, a free agency that year for John Gruden. Mike Alstott. I'm trying to think of the other players there. Hey, guys, let's talk NHL playoffs. I don't know about tonight. Lost you guys. Playoffs. Dave, I would call back for Turnbuckle talk. Very good. Roger Cutler will go to the Hall of Fame. Mike DeRoche. Leo, is that a Grambling shirt or a Georgia shirt?
Gaither High School. Good
Gaither High School. Christopher Cole says Roseman had more draft picks and a lot more cap space. That's fair also. Nicholas, Saints are going to be tough. Somebody put the bong down. Step away from the computer. Less coaching mistakes, less fumbles, and more defensive takeaways. I don't know what the Saints are going to be. His point is, though, Nick. Nicholas, thanks a lot. Kosamides, I believe. Thanks a lot for tuning in, one of the web heads here. The Saints are always tough. They're a division rival. The Panthers are always tough. They're a division rival. The Atlanta Falcons are tough. They're a division rival. But looking at it right now on paper, and I know you don't play football on paper, the Bucs head and shoulders are most likely the best team in the NFC South, with the reason being Jason Light, the organization, and what they do not only in free agency, but also in the draft. Is that a fair assessment, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy?
First, let me say, because I want to piggyback on what Leo said, because he made a great point. And it's not just because I love you, Leo, not because you've literally taught me most of the things. You've learned more than you've forgotten more than I'll ever know about football, but you've taught me so much about this industry. If there's one issue with the Glazier family since 1995, when they bought this team and the whole world gave them grief for spending $195 million to buy this team, they said you were idiots to do this. If there's been one thing that they've had issues with, is looking at the team or looking at the historical factors of this team before they purchased in 95. And by that, what I'm saying is they've got Leroy in the Ring of Honor, but you've got a player like Hardy Nickerson, and you've got a player like possibly a James Wilder who are not yet in that Ring of Honor. So I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world, because we have the best fan experience game day in the NFL 9 of the last 10 years. We've got the best general manager, and we've got an ownership that lets them just drive the car. But if there's one low point, or not low point, but if there's one downness as far as the Buccaneer organization, is that they have trouble looking back beyond 1995. So even though in 2002 you were the one that was that said that they were going to win, I remember that. It's that they don't really have a problem historically touching back to things that they didn't have a direct part of. But is that a fair assessment, Peter? Is that a fair thing to say? 100%. I agree.
Listen, I think they look back at it, and I think Leo's correct. They should definitely include him somewhere in there, especially with the 50th anniversary, especially if he was the guy who said that they were going to beat Philadelphia and they were going to beat the Raiders. That's great. That belongs in that social media. So we'll definitely try to work on that, Leo, because I definitely think you got a great point. Louie, you're on the two Leos here, Leo and Louie. Louie's on remote here, so I've been giving him a break.
Hey, can I answer Ray's question real quick from before?
Go for it.
Quick. Ray, I had lunch with a very influential person who mentioned the fact to me that don't be surprised if in 2 or 3 years college football breaks away completely from the NCAA. That the top 40, 50, or 60 schools form their own individual conference. Everybody else stays in the NCAA. You start to see these schools go back to where they were with geographic conferences, but football's going to break away. There's too much money hanging out. So, yeah, the NCAA may have gotten to a point where they just can't control football, and that's bad. And, Peter, you talked about, real quick, about guys holding out. It all depends on how that NIL is written.
Yep.
And you know what? The NCAA, they only have themselves to blame, because after they lost the O'Bannon case, the fact that no one up in Indianapolis went, hey, guys, we better start thinking about this. And you know what they came up with? Oh, Congress will take care of it. Yeah. What a joke that is.
Well, what a joke. It's definitely a joke. You're absolutely correct.
And last thing, when we talk about Jason Light being the best general manager, he's in that group. There's the group. And again, Peter, even to put out the thought of drafting a cornerback or a safety with that first pick is ludicrous, and here's why. No pass rush, you're looking bad on that back end, no matter what. It's got to be a linebacker or an edge guy. It's got to be.
Well,
because no pressure on the quarterback. And again, guys, I'm going to remind you, Leo's postulate, 100. If a quarterback can throw it where he wants to, when he wants to, and to whom he wants to, he's winning the game.
Yeah.
Bottom line, you got to get pressure.
You got to get pressure, and that's why I think it's going to be Ezaraku at this point. Let me go out if he's there. Jem says, key to Bucs success in 2025 will be another year of the offensive line staying healthy like it did in 2024. David says, I got to go. Hell of a show again, Leo. I'm sorry that my Seminoles beat up your Bulls tonight.
Oh, God, that was pathetic. Oh.
What happened tonight?
Oh, all I know is that it was 16-0. I left. It was that whatever it was tonight or last. My God.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns, 2-point conversions. It was terrible.
Well, listen, we got college baseball talk, so there you go, Joe Sway. You wanted some college baseball talk. There you go. Leo, you're on a pitch count. You done here, my friend?
I can give you 5 more minutes.
All right, 5 more minutes. So this has been talked about here, but let's go out to Jason Light, what he had to say about trading down. I do think this year is going to be, I could be wrong, but you're going to see a little less of people wanting to move up and offering enough to make it worth your while. Just because I think the draft is pretty leveled out at a certain point, you might be able to get to the same level of player in the second round as you can in the fourth round at certain positions. So I think you'll see a little bit less than that. And then also he talked about, once again, trading down. And he goes, there have been years where I thought about it more than others. It just kind of depends on how things fall. You can't walk into it saying, I'm definitely looking to trade back, because you don't know what's going to fall to you. I do think this year is going to be, and I could be wrong, you're going to see maybe a little less people maybe wanting to move up and offering enough to make it worth your while. So to me, what you're saying is somebody's going to trade up, then it's going to have to be for a quarterback position, or somebody's going to have to fall in your lap. But also, if somebody does fall in your lap, you're not going to trade down out of that pick. You're going to stay at that pick at 19. What's Jason Light's mindset? What is he trying to say here? Or once again, is this disinformation? Jason Light's throwing it out there. Who knows what he's going to do at this point?
It's always a fact of information or disinformation. It's one or the other.
Right.
I think what the Giants are doing is throwing that hook in the water and saying, hey, we're trying out Milroe. We're trying out Shedeur Sanders. We're going to take a quarterback.
Mm.
You want that guy, you're going to have to come get him. I think this is definitely a game of draft chicken. Let's see who blinks first. I don't think the Giants are going to take a quarterback at that number. I think they're going to try to trade back. They're going to try to convince people. And again, here's what happens on draft day.
Mm.
They're going to be sitting there, and the phone's going to ring. It's going to be another team. Who are you taking with your pick? Well, we're going to take a linebacker. Okay, nice talking to you. Bye. Phone rings again. Who are you taking with your pick? We're taking Shedeur Sanders. Well, let's talk. Again, you got to hit the right note, because if you hit the wrong note, they're hanging up.
Yep.
So, and again, look at the Giants. The teams that are drafting in the top 5.
Awful.
They got Swiss cheese holes. We're not talking about something you can plug like the Dutch boy put his hand in the dike. That's not going to happen. I know. Get a giggle out of that. Go ahead, guys.
Oh, there you go. All right, so you did say that, Leo Haggerty.
Well, let me finish. So, Leo, like you said, I want to go ahead and give Pat and Aaron a little Pat and Aaron show there on 95.3 WDAE, 5 days a week there on the radio. They were talking this morning, and Pat and Aaron were talking about the dream scenario for the Bucs, and that would be that if the Giants went ahead and they took Travis Hunter at number 3, but then Shedeur Sanders is still on the board going 15, 16, 17 for some reason. And the Giants look to move back up into the first round to put the two retired numbers from Colorado Buffaloes onto their team, and maybe also fill that quarterback need, even though they have Russell Wilson, of course, Jameis Winston there. That would be a dream scenario for the Bucs. I still think Jason Light trades out of that 19, because not that we don't have needs. Everyone has needs, but there's going to be teams as it falls. I think there's going to be teams that are going to want to move up there, and Jason's going to go, you know what? We just got Hassan. We're doing pretty well. We could use some secondary, but I wanted to go ahead and finish with this thought. And Peter, thanks for letting me run on here. When we were talking about Jason Light ever getting to that draft pick, Leo said, and having regret or thinking about trading back. And you said, or no, you were reading the comments that Jason said there's times he's thought about trading back. I wonder if that trade back thought is the 2021 draft after we won a Super Bowl 55, and they took Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and they called him a luxury pick with the injury out of Washington. And I wonder if that or the Roberto Aguayo pick in the second round, I wonder which of those two.
You got to hear this story.
All right, let's listen to it. Okay.
Dirk gets up there when they cut Aguayo, and he said, Yeah, we had to cut him, but we signed his brother, who's at Florida State. He's leaving school right now. One of the media people who will remain nameless, she, and I think you can figure out who it was from there, bit on that hook and took it hook, line, and sinker. And Roy Cummings and I are sitting there. This is not happening. Oh, yeah. Oh, when's he coming? Oh, he'll be here next week. Oh, my God, did it cost you a draft pick? No, it was strictly signing it. And it went on for like a minute, and we're trying not to laugh. And it's not working.
Yeah.
Dirk Cutter just completely. Oh my God! It was past comical. It was painful, guys. On that note, you got Ralph in back there. Turnbuckle talk. Get the big guy on, because if not, he's going to jump on that top rope and he's going to knee drop me, and I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, we don't want the leg drop here. Really quick, WrestleMania predictions. I know you're a wrestling fan, so maybe we include you with Turnbuckle Talk. Who do you like in the match? There are two matches that everybody cares about. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. First and foremost, how do you see that going down?
Well, I'll tell you what. Two legends there. Cena's a Tampa guy, too.
Yeah.
Which is really neat. What the wrestling community likes to do is, when you're comfortable with one guy, they like to bring the new guy in, or the old guy.
Yeah.
They always want to be relevant. That's why I think Cena may win.
You might be right about that. And, of course, the history on that would be he would surpass Ric Flair, 17-time world champion. He is our world champion of this show. Mr. Leo Haggerty, we appreciate your time, my friend. All right.
I'm out of here, guys. Hey, happy Easter to everybody. I'll be back on with you Monday night.
Sounds good. There you go. The legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports.
Book him, Dano.
He's out of here. All right, Ray, you want to you want to get out of here yourself, because we're getting ready to do Turnbuckle Talk.
Yeah, I just want to say, Cody Rhodes is going to win that championship. I get it. The whole John Cena, he's Hollywood. He's big. He's the guy. He's awesome. He is a great guy, and he's a Tampa guy. You got to go with Cody. I just feel like it ties back to Dusty Rhodes, ties back to the Championship Wrestling from Florida. It's historical, and I think it's going to be a fantastic match. This is one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to this WrestleMania. So I'll let you get on with Turnbuckle Talk. And Louie, it's good to see you, brother, and thanks for having me tonight.
Unless you want to stay on with us. I mean, you're a wrestling fan too, right? You're not like Harry, Dick the Bruiser, right?
No, I am a wrestling fan, but my daughter's telling me I got to go because she needs to get some sleep. So
All right,
I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you. Go sell that speaker, all right?
Yeah, you got it.
Hey, how about this one? There you go. On that note, you're out of here. Get out of here. Let me go out to Ralph Wlliams, bodyguard of the Berg. Louie, you've been waiting patiently. We know that you're driving right now. Ralph, are you there?
No, this is Ralpho, the Mexicano. I'm filling in for Ralph tonight because
That's fair enough to suck right there.
That's a terrible.
And if you want me to, Peter, I will send a doctor's notice down to you for the excuse for him being sick.
Okay, so he's sick tonight, so you're filling in for him.
Yes,
Chad.
I am. I'm filling in for him. I'm the American Mexicano.
Mexico. Okay.
Ralpho.
Yeah.
All right,
From
Louie,
the Gulf of America too, right?
Yeah, Gulf of America. Get out of here with that. Let's go
Yeah,
out.
here I am.
All right, let's go out to our phone lines here. Alex, using your call here. Yes, go ahead, my friend.
Is Ray still there?
Ray is gone, my friend. He's done for the night.
Damn it.
We're talking. We're talking Turnbuckle Talk here, wrestling talk.
Oh man, I wanted to ask him something.
All right, you have to save
Listen,
that call.
guys. I love the show.
Thank you.
Peter, you kill it. Hey, Louie, right? Is that his name?
Yes, it's Louie.
Yes, it is.
Louie, thank you so much, bro, for bringing the passion of the Buccaneers talk. I love you, bro. I could talk Bucs with this man all the time. I hope he starts joining your show, man, because
he's on, man. Great. He's on Wednesday nights with us. So he may be on Monday nights, but we're going to keep him on Wednesday nights. We're not going to try to overwork him, but he's our new gun here. He's, what do we say?
What do you hear? What do you say?
Just another guy here that we add to it. It's like we're adding the dream team here, except we actually win. We don't lose. So there you go.
Well, much love, guys. Thank you so much, and have a great night. And by the way, safe travels to Nashville, Louie. Safe travels, brother.
All right, Alex.
Thank you.
Raise
Almost there. Just
almost.
another 7 hours to go, unfortunately.
All right, so there you go. Let's go out to you, Ralph. Welcome to the Evolution. Of course, all eyes are going to be on WrestleMania 41 on Saturday and Sunday. Give me your general thoughts of this. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I got a question for you guys tonight and all the web heads out there. I'm going to play this reel, and this was on the JP Peterson show last year with me talking to Titus O'Neil on how WrestleMania 40 ended with Cody Rhodes. I want you to listen to this because my question for the night is, can WrestleMania 41 live up to WrestleMania 40? This is what Titus O'Neil had to say about the event last year here on the Evolution. Wrestling, of course, you have Dusty Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is able to finish the story. First, what did you think of that whole storyline versus the Bloodline? And then talk about Cody Rhodes and, his ascension to the top of the wrestling world.
I did some really fun backstage segments when he was Stardust and had the opportunity. And I know for him at that time, he had the same mentality that his dad had when they put his dad in polka dots, which was, I'm going to make this as amazing as I possibly can. And he wasn't happy with a lot of stuff going on at that time, and he gambled on himself. Mm-hmm. And when you fast forward it now to him being our champion, our top champion, and seeing, the route that he had to take to get there and who he had to go through to get there to where he is right now. Tears that not only myself and other people probably shared that night were definitely tears of joy. When you look at the entire makeup of how the buildup happened, and kind of the pivot in regards to now we got, instead of having Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Roman Reigns headlining WrestleMania, it's Cody Rhodes fighting for his life to finish the story and taking an ass whooping all the way up until it was time for him to be crowned champion. And to see it all wrap around and having his mother there and his family there and his wife there, and seeing that moment where everybody that had something to do with his past and his present be in the ring and celebrate with him was definitely a beautiful moment for wrestling in general. And I feel like it'll go down as one of the greatest stories to ever be finished.
Boom. So there you go, guys. Let me come back here. Great soundbite there from Titus O'Neil, Titus Worldwide. Got that from him. Let me ask you this, Ralph. We'll start out with you, and then we'll go to Louie there again on remote, going to Nashville. We'll read your comments and take phone calls from you guys, getting you ready for WrestleMania 41. But has the hype this year lived up to the hype last year, or has it fallen short? And do you think it can match last year's hype? Once again, welcome to Turnbuckle Talk.
Well, the only thing that I can think of, Peter, is the fact that The Rock gets involved in this in some way, some form. If The Rock gets involved in this, like I think he will, I think the WrestleMania is going to be great, almost as good as last year's. The only thing I don't like about this year is too many triple threat matches and fatal four ways and all that stuff. We got too much of that going on. But you know what? It's not a bad WrestleMania, but it's not going to match what last year's was. Last year's was just phenomenal. The match night one, and then Cody had to go through night two and winning the championship. That was the ultimate WrestleMania. And I think you'll probably see another one like that again when it reaches 50.
Let me go out to you, Louie, here, and let me see if I can get that graphic. Oh, there's the graphic. It's not working. So we'll just go back to this right here. Louie, what do you think about the hype of this? Has it matched up to it? Has it fallen a little bit short? And do you think that the next two nights there on Saturday and Sunday can match WrestleMania 40? Or once again, is it like what Titus said, that was one of the greatest wrestling moments in history, and it's going to most likely fall short?
So bear with me because I'm driving through Virginia right now, and it's just
gotcha.
Terrible area. No point intended to the hangman. Anyways, here's my thing. I think this year's WrestleMania is going to be a little bit different. I mean, last year, let's face facts, Triple H took over the company. He had to put on a mega show, right? This year, I think we expected the same. I think on this year's card, like it doesn't look sexy, but I think you're gonna have a lot of good quality matches. And I understand what Ralph's saying about there's a lot of fatal four ways, triple threats. I get it. I don't know. I think they have a good night one in store for us, and I think they have a really good night two in store for us. I think you're going to see a lot of people show up. I think you're going to see a lot of appearances. You know what I'm really curious to see is the whole Randy Orton situation. What's going to happen there? A lot of people are not really talking about that. But overall, I mean, listen, everything that he's done so far, Triple H, has been very good. It's been a very slow build, but again, I think 2 nights of WrestleMania. I think these cards are gonna have good quality wrestling on it.
All right, to that story there, Ralph. This came out from Sports Kita, so take it for what it is. There's an insider on Wrestling Votes provided this update. Don't know if it will be Nick Aldis, but I'm 99% sure they're going to add Randy Orton's match into Sunday's card. I haven't been able to lock down who the opponent is, which is a good thing at this point in the game. I would say you got Randy Orton, unfortunately, in this to be determined type of opponent for WrestleMania. You got to try to make the most of it. I would say right up until he's in the ring, don't announce his opponent. Who should be the opponent? Because I think, Louie, you talked about this. How would you book this? How would you book this? For me, I would go with Aleister Black. I think his return there would be interesting. You have those two against each other. Randy Orton, I think that could be logical. I could also see, possibly in a perfect world for me, the dream booking would be Matt Riddle versus Randy Orton, because that would shock everybody with Riddle's problems, that we talked about outside of the ring with being tag team partners. That would be the dream matchup for me. But right now, I think it's going to either be Aleister Black or Rusev Day. Ralph, how would you book this?
I think it's going to be Nick Aldis. Let me tell you something about Nick Aldis. He promised when he took over he was going to crack the whip. He hasn't done anything. And, to me, I think that match should be Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton. Aldis is itching to get back into the ring, I think. He's still only 38 years old. So that means he still has some life in him. I don't know what led him to be the GM. I think it was money, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe he just didn't want to wear and tear his body down anymore. That could be as well. But I think it's going to be Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton. I believe that to be the case. If not, perhaps, Peter, I do agree. Rusev, Aleister Black. There's a few other guys coming in. Who knows? I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm thinking it's going to be Nick Aldis because, as I mentioned, as a GM, he hasn't done what he said he was going to do.
All right, let me go. Curtis, I know you're calling in as a webhead using that second call for Turnbuckle Talk, so stand by. Your first, I think it's your second call here. Stand by. So let me go out to you, Louie. How would you book this match? Who would be Randy Orton's opponent if it is on Sunday? Would it be Aldis? Would it be Sami Zayn? Would it be Rusev? Would it be Aleister Black? How would you book this, my friend?
This one's a tough one. I mean, if it's me, it depends on what you want to do with Aleister Black and how you want to build him. We all know Triple H loved Aleister Black, formerly known as Malachi Black. He could come back as Malachi Black because he does own the name. If it was me, I mean, you have Rusev. They've been promoting Malachi for, the SmackDown. I mean, you can go up 4 different ways with Sami Zayn and Nick Aldis. If it's me personally, I'm a big fan of Malachi. What I would do is the element of surprise. I would have Malachi come in there, not completely squash Randy Orton, but put a really good match on, give him the black mass, and then show up on Monday night, SmackDown, and kick the head off Cody Rhodes. And continue that feud that AEW dropped the ball on when Malachi first appeared. I think you can really build something there. But also you can go with Miro / Rusev and bring him back into the fold. There's a number of things you can do. But me personally, I would definitely put in Aleister Black there. I think Aleister Black and Randy Orton, I think they could put on a a good match for WrestleMania within short notice like that. And again, if you want to build Aleister Black or Malachi Black, I think that's the way you do it, because I think he's going to be a SmackDown guy. And like I said, I would definitely bring back that feud between him and Cody Rhodes, because when they did that in AEW, that was money.
I like it. All right, let's go out to Curtis here. Curtis, welcome to Turnbuckle Talk.
Listen,
What's up, Curtis? Welcome to Turnbuckle Talk.
I
What's going
am.
on, Curtis?
So what's going on, brothers?
What's going on, man?
Oh, another day in this paradise.
That's it. There you
know
go.
what?
I'll be heading there real soon, though.
There you go.
Before I get into this wrestling,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Peter.
Yeah.
I have to touch on this David guy from earlier.
Go ahead. I know you're going to. Go ahead. Go for it, man.
Listen, I respect everything this guy said.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's an opinion.
That's correct.
Okay. I'm going to give him some facts. I've been a Buccaneers fan since my family moved here from Omaha, Nebraska. 6 weeks after Hurricane Andrew.
Oh, my gosh. That's 93, right? 92, 93?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I've watched this team go from being a joke of the league, the Cleveland Browns, as we can say right now, to winning it all and being at the pinnacle of the NFL.
Right.
Okay. I watched this team go from Tony Dungy to John Gruden and win a Super Bowl, and John Gruden just dismantled the franchise.
Correct.
Dismantle. So for David, I love you to death. I have no animosity towards you, but I'm going to tell you, for you to have the audacity to say Jason Light, anything terrible about Jason Light, just go look at the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Thank you. And I got to remind, fans that are coming aboard here, and I know, some new people go, well, it was bad times in 2009 to, 2018, 2019. Yes, there was bad times, but
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We've had bad times since we lost since after we won that first Super Bowl.
Yes, you did.
Listen, I'll never forgive.
I will
never forgive. I will never forgive John Gruden. Listen, I think John Gruden's a great coach. I really do. And you know what? He gave us the balls, if you will, to go into Philly and do what we did. But I'll never forgive him when he got rid of John Lynch and Warren Sapp in the same year and said we spent too much money on defense. I will never forgive him for that.
Well, it was Bruce Allen too, along with it. That's bad management. That's what we're talking about when it comes to bad management. Jason
And
Light.
everybody forgets about the Dirk Coder, Raheem Morris times too.
Oh, those are not good either.
Listen, and David, listen, you're right. Jason Light, he's made some terrible picks, but who the hell hasn't?
Right. There's plenty of
we can say Bill Belichick is one of the greatest coaches in NFL history.
Right.
And he made some look how terrible New England did after Brady left.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you serious?
It's the reason why Brady left in the first place, because
Are you serious?
Still rebuilding. Still rebuilding.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
What has Carolina done since they went to the Super Bowl?
Nothing.
Nothing.
That's nothing.
How about
what has the Giants done since Eli Manning's been gone?
Nothing.
Exactly.
What about the Broncos? After
Nothing.
the Peyton Manning era.
How about new?
Yes.
The only team that's been relevant is the Kansas City Chiefs.
What have the Raiders done since they lost to the Bucs in
Nothing.
2002?
Nothing.
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
Yep, that's it. Right there, my friend. All right, Turnbuckle Talk. I love it.
What has New Orleans done since Sean Payton left? Nothing.
Nothing.
Hey, now back to our regular schedule programming.
Thank you.
Anyway, listen, I think WrestleMania is going to be fantastic.
Can it live up to that hype of last year?
I think it's going to blow next year out of the water.
Really? Okay.
And
Explain.
It's in Vegas too. That's another thing. It has to.
I think the reason why is, listen, let me just say this. the storylines are so great this year because number one, let's just go ahead and say this. We all love Charlotte. Love her or hate her, we all love Charlotte Flair. I love Charlotte Flair.
I think I've grown tired of it. I honestly do think I've grown tired.
I think she's trying to get to her dad's level of like 16, and then I think she'll retire.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. It's very stale. Although I did like the attack on what she did with Tiffany Stratton. I the seeing the mean streak. That's the thing. I don't like the catering to the crowd. Charlotte. She's terrible at that. I mean, I like the heel Charlotte. I like the Charlotte that's obnoxious. I mean, I like the Charlotte that's I'm better than you, kiss the ground, kiss my feet, kiss the ground that I walk on, throw rose petals when I walk down the aisle.
Listen,
that's the Charlotte I like, the smug Charlotte.
Exactly.
This Charlotte is just not there.
No.
She is literally the opposite of Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair could be in every woman's main event.
She should be,
and you wouldn't have a problem with it.
I wouldn't have a problem at all.
Just like Charlotte. Charlotte, because of who she is and the way she goes out and performs, she could be in every woman's main event.
Yeah.
It's just certain people that have that ability and to be in the main event. I mean, they're just main eventers. I think there's so much going on with this WrestleMania. I think Jay is going to destroy Gunther.
So you like Jay over Gunther
for putting his hands on his brother.
Okay. All right.
I think.
Yeah, I said this, Curtis, when I was sitting here watching that with my wife. I said one thing you never do is piss off a Samoan because they have a temper that's just unbelievable. And when you mess with family, that's personal. And now Jey Uso, Gunther has opened up a can of worms that he can't close.
That's very, very, very true. All right. What else? So your predictions here. You like Cody or John Cena?
I told you I like John Cena.
All right. So you like John Cena to surpass Ric Flair at WrestleMania?
The reason I like John Cena is because, I mean, love or hate John Cena, you got to give this man his credit where credit is due.
Yeah, but as a heel, I mean, has this lived up? I mean, the promos. I don't know. They're missing The Rock here. The Rock is missing.
Here's the thing, though. Peter. Has John Cena said anything wrong?
I mean, there's some things you can definitely agree with.
Good point. I like that.
Said any? I went back and watched all the promos he's cut as a heel. He hasn't. He's only stated facts.
Well, he said some things about Cody. He could actually look at himself because Cody's actually right. If it's not for Vince McMahon, John Cena's going nowhere. But John Cena was in, using the political stuff in the back room there, and that's why he was. I'm not taking away from Cena. I just think, I don't know. It's been good promo. I don't know. I'm not buying the John Cena heel stuff. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know why. It just hasn't. They should have changed the music. They shouldn't have did it so close to WrestleMania. They should have built this up.
Honestly, I think.
I like the fact that they didn't change the music because this John Cena kind of gives me the vibe. This one gives me the remember the ECW vibe that he got. That I like how he stuck to that. Like just the.
But if you listen to the song,
yeah, it's the way he comes out to it. I like it. It's just
if you listen to the song, he's coming off as an arrogant dick.
Well, he is. He's always been like that. But you're exactly
pompous prick.
All right. So with that being said, you think John Cena goes over? Who wins this in this three ways? Is it CM Punk? Is it Seth Rollins? Or is it Roman Reigns? And by the way, we got a question out there from Mike D. Roche from Canada. We'll get out to some of these questions in a moment. Does Heyman turn on Punk?
Listen, I'm gonna say this.
No.
I'm gonna say this, and I gotta go. I love you guys. I gotta go.
Yeah, bro.
But I'm gonna say this.
Say it.
They need to give it to Seth Rollins.
So it's Seth Rollins you think goes over. Why?
Here's the reason they need to give it to Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Seth Rollins is not going anywhere.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's very stuck in this shuffle. And I like that. I agree with that.
Could CM Punk turn with Seth Rollins? Not CM Punk. Could Paul Heyman turn with Seth Rollins?
I heard that story. That
That
could happen.
would be that would be greatness.
Wow.
Yes.
And it's
because
making
if you
more
think
sense.
about it,
Yeah.
the attitude, the way he says things, the way he does things, Seth Rollins is already a Paul Heyman guy. He's arrogant, he's cocky, he's confident. He's got all those things already. He's already a champion.
I don't know. I can't predict this
That's a
match.
tough one, though. That's gonna be tough.
All Paul Heyman is going to do is just take Seth Rollins, stop playing checkers, and now he's going to play chess.
Okay. All right, Curtis. Duly noted, my friend. We will definitely talk to you on next week here about what happened for WrestleMania 41 the first two nights. All right, my friend?
All right, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate
Have a good one, Curtis. Thank you.
Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Go Bucs, or we be at the draft party in the Champions Lodge next Thursday. Go Bucs. Love it. Let's go out to Mike D. Roche. I hope Gunther beats the Yeet out of Uso. Do we let's look at that really quick here. Let me get your opinion on this. Louie, how do you see this match falling into place? It looked like Jey Uso was going to win it. Although, did they take the belt off of Gunther? How did they play this out?
I don't know, man. That's tough because I feel like so I really liked Jay and I liked his momentum going in, but that promo that he had going up against Gunther when he said, "Gunther, do you have a mom?" I mean, yeah, obviously he's got a mom. How did he get here? I just feel like he dropped the ball on that. I wasn't a big fan of that promo. I feel like that was his time to shine, and that was his time to really, like, how can I put it? More get in tuned with a dark side of him, and he kind of dropped the ball a little bit. I mean, I like Gunther going into this one. I don't think Jay's really ready for it yet. I mean, if they do give it to him, they do, but I don't think so. I don't think he can really. I shouldn't say he couldn't carry that world heavyweight title because, I mean, he's got that whole Yeet thing going and stuff. I really like Gunther going in this one. I'm gonna predict Gunther. Gunther pulls this one out, and I think Gunther wins this.
All right. What do you think, Ralph? Gunther, or is it going to be Jey Uso?
Well, first of all, I think it's going to be Jey Uso. The momentum's riding high. The Yeet movement. He's good with the microphone, that kind of thing. But I just got word right now, Randy Orton's opponent at WrestleMania will be the Brooklyn Brawler. So I just want to let everyone know that. So there you go.
That should be interesting.
Yeah, that should be a great match there.
FU, 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 and FU. Peace out.
I had to get that one in, Peter, after I started off the show with El Ralfo Americano.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
Ralph's on fire today.
Ralph is on fire today.
It.
So
that's right.
You've got that match. You've got, again, we talked about the three-way there. How do you look at that three-way, Louie, working out? How's that work out for you? Is it going to be Seth?
Which one?
Well,
that one. Okay.
Yeah, the three-way. Is it going to be Seth, or is it going to be Roman Reigns, or is it going to be CM Punk?
Oof, I don't know, man. That's a tough one too. I mean, where do you go in that situation? On one hand you have Seth Rollins, who's, to me, he's being lost in the shuffle, in my opinion. Also, now you have Roman Reigns, who's really hasn't done anything without a title. He's just kind of another one that's kind of being lost in the shuffle. And then you have CM Punk. I mean, this one's tough. This one's really tough for me. I mean, for me, if you want somebody to benefit from this, it's got to be Seth Rollins because he's been very stale as of late. And I think him and Paul Heyman in some weird way would work. But I don't think Paul Heyman's going to turn on one of these guys. I mean, I don't think he's going to turn on Punk. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. That's why, again, when we're comparing WrestleManias from this year to last year, I feel like it's unfair because we kind of knew last year what was going to go down. This year, it's just there's so much unknown. And I think it's going to, like I said, it's going to be a great card. But as far as that match goes, I want to say Seth Rollins is going to take that one. That's where I see it going.
All right, if you hear in the background, my roommates are running amok here. Steve, your Red Sox did win the series there. Thank you. I'm not clipping nothing. Get out of here. Shut up. Your Red Sox won the series. It's the last series they win all year long. We'll continue to talk about this. You're going to be what do you want to talk about? Baseball. We're talking about wrestling. What do you want to talk about? Baseball. Okay. Whatever. They may be bad baseball. All right, let me go out to the phone lines here. Let's go out to Sun Devil Dave. Sun Devil, you're on Turnbuckle Talk as my dog is running all over the place. The roommates are running crazy. Yes,
Chaos.
it is a chaos day here. We're on Turnbuckle.
Chaos in the Blake room
Getting
there.
ready for WrestleMania.
Yeah, we lost them.
You get out of here.
Ralph, looks like we got to carry this, buddy. What's your take on do you really do? How can I put it? Do you see Seth Rollins? I mean, Paul Heyman really turning on CM Punk there?
Louie, what are you doing? I'm here still, man. I'm here.
What's up, Louie?
I'm here, buddy. I'm here. Dave, what's on your mind, boss?
Hey, real quick.
Yes.
Just wanted to kind of talk about what's going on with the bloodline. I only see Fatu. What happened to the rest of the bloodline?
Ralph, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Louie.
We can hear you, Louie. What's
perfect.
going on?
I guess we're gonna have to carry this show, bud.
That's fine.
Do you think Paul Heyman's gonna turn on CM Punk there?
Louie, what are you doing? What are you saying, man? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
I'm here,
No.
guys.
I mean, it seems to be like the story kind of going around. I mean, Seth Rollins in itself, he's got a mouthpiece on him. But, I mean, Paul Heyman, I think they can make some magic together. I really do. I think they could be probably one of the most hated duos in wrestling. I mean, but I got to ask you this.
Hold on. Well, hold on a minute. Louie, are you
here
there?
we go. Oh, I'm here.
Bro, I'm here too. What are you talking about? I've been here.
You were gone for a while. We couldn't hear you.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Sorry, I heard you.
I don't know what happened there. I think it's your Wi-Fi, bud. We're still here. Let's go out to Sun Devil Dave here. Sun Devil Dave, what's on your mind, boss?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good WrestleMania.
Okay.
Number one, I was just wondering what was going on with the
bloodline.
The bloodline. What was Silas Sikoa and the other guys? I know Fatu's in that match.
Listen, let
so
me ask
the rest of the crew here.
Let me ask you, Ralph. Does it make sense to go with Solo against Randy Orton? Is that a match that you go with? Jacob Fatu is getting a major push here. I think he goes over on LA Knight as the United States champion. Ralph, what do you think about the bloodline and the new bloodline that's kind of falling apart here?
Well, the new bloodline's falling apart because you got Fatu who wants to be a champion, and you got Solo Sikoa who wants to be a champion, and Tama Tonga, he can't even talk. So, I mean, Yeah, exactly. So, I think that Fatu could win. I want LA Knight to win because LA Knight's, again, popular, good with the microphone, and, he's kind of like another Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock. He's really good with the microphone. Some of the stuff he does mimics them. And I think that would be a great thing for WWE. I see Fatu going up against Solo Sikoa in a future match or at a pay-per-view. And I see Tama Tonga going out on his own or doing something else, or maybe even hooking up with Roman Reigns and forming another bloodline. I don't know. Right now, that's up in the air right now. They're kind of like a lost thought or whatever, So that's where I see them.
I think it's lost its luster. Yeah. It's too much. It's stale.
Luster, yes.
I mean, Louie, what do you think of this bloodline gimmick here? Nothing to do with Solo at this point.
I think it's ran its course, unfortunately, because we've had it for so long. I just think, what else are you gonna do? Honestly, I think it's ran its course. I'm surprised Tama Tonga hasn't gotten like a little singles push there. I think what they need to do is just really start to kind of break away from each other. Let Jacob Fatu do its thing because, he's really outshining Solo Sikoa. I would have loved to see him and Solo kind of have a match at WrestleMania and do LA Knight with Tama Tonga or something for that United States Championship and kind of build up Tama Tonga a little bit. I know he's up there in age, but still, that's just kind of my opinion. I think that again, Solo and Jacob Fatu would have been money at WrestleMania. I think they would have put on a hell of a match.
Yeah.
And again, Tama Tonga, I think Tama Tonga would have been a better opponent for LA Knight. But we'll see. I mean, I guess Jacob Fatu, in my opinion, does not need the United States Championship. He really doesn't. I
No.
mean, I could see like the Intercontinental Championship to help him to start to introduce him as see what he can do as a future world champion. But I mean, I think there's a lot you could do with Jacob Fatu, especially with Gunther and stuff like that. That would be like, if there's anybody that's going to take the title of Gunther, it's definitely a guy like Jacob Fatu, because they can benefit off that. But as far as this bloodline stuff, I mean, I don't know. I know they signed a couple of more guys. I don't know. I mean, I think it's ran its course. I think they need to kind of just put it down for a little while, in my opinion.
Okay. All right.
See what happens on that.
Listen, I think Fatu is going to go over. I just think he's way over at this point. I think they missed out on LA Knight. They had an opportunity there. I think it's kind of ran its course also. Well,
here's something that I'm thinking of. If they're bringing in all these cousins from the Fatu family, some of these other cousins are coming in. Roman's up to something, because Roman's not going to stay out of the spotlight. He's going to want it. So I'm thinking if he starts another bloodline or some kind of a faction, he's going to bring those cousins in. The Usos, they want to do their own thing, and I don't blame them. It's time for them to do their own thing. And, so if that's where I'm thinking, that's where the thought process could go, because Roman's not going to stay in the background. He wants to be the man.
Yeah, he definitely wants to be the man. All right, Sun Devil Dave, what else?
And then real quick, where do you think this whole, Charlotte Flair and Stratton, do you see maybe something happening in that match? I know that there's been a lot of talk with both, unprofessionalism on both sides, the way they handle it. I know she's going through a lot of stuff with divorce.
The story
they do
is
something crazy, like in the main event. I mean, where they do some kind of crazy, like, shoot screw job, where maybe Flair lays down and just doesn't want to wrestle. Do you think it goes that far? Do you think
this is not Vince Russo running.
This ain't WCW.
Yeah, this isn't the finger poke of doom. I know where you're going with that.
Halloween Havoc.
No, this is not at all. I think they're smart. They will keep the belt on Tiffany Stratton. Although, if history tells you anything, you would think that Charlotte goes over, and I think it would be a mistake. I think Tiffany should win. There has been some unprofessional, goings on, if you will. There's also been talk that Charlotte right now has a lot of heat on her from the locker room, from the younger wrestlers, because of how she's been unprofessional, how Tiffany came back and said, she's 0 for 3 out of the ring, and then how Kaiser was in her DMs, which nobody believes at this point. You got Tiffany Stratton, you got Charlotte Flair. Love Charlotte Flair as a wrestler, but take Tiffany Stratton all day long.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. I like, honestly, not to interrupt, but I honestly, I like what she said. Good for her, stepping up, standing her ground, because there was some comments made the week before, but good for her. Fair play to her, man. She's a young and upcoming star, and I wasn't really sold on her, and she just stood her ground, and and she said what she said, and you know what? It just makes the match more interesting. And if it's me, in my opinion, I think you got to go with Tiffany Stratton. And I know I said Charlotte back then a couple of weeks ago, but you got to go with Tiffany Stratton. Right now, she's got the hot hand. Let her keep doing, let her keep growing, and Charlotte can go do something else. You know what I'm saying? Charlotte can have 1,000,001 different feuds with anybody else in that locker room.
Yeah.
Supposedly Paige is coming back. They can do something with her. Charlotte can do a lot of things. I mean, they got to that's the thing too. And not to prolong this, but they got to stop with the excessive title runs with her. It's so meaningless. It's so like wishy-washy. Like, it's so, all right, we're going to put the strap on her and that's it. And then we're going to take it off 2 months later. And then we're just so she can catch up to daddy. No, man, it can't. They got to stop doing that. That's a big problem, in my opinion.
That is a big problem. Yeah,
it's a big problem, in my opinion.
All right, Dave. Anything else?
I hope she pushes Stratton. I just know that maybe she is starting to get the attitude of like some of the other guys when Hogan had to push people over. Let's say even Austin didn't really want to push Lesnar, and maybe Charlotte's thinking, look, I really don't want to push her, but I think she'll be the professional here and and push Stratton.
You're like Hogan would say, that's not going to work, brother. I don't think that Charlotte has that. Right. I don't think Charlotte has that power, but it's a good point. It's a good point.
See. It's going to be a great WrestleMania. Can't wait.
There's something else too.
Good.
Go ahead, Ralph.
That was just. I'm going to head out. But
okay, yeah. Well, here's what I wanted to add to Louie's take there. Okay, he said that we have, you got Paige coming. You also got Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and I could see a rivalry between her and Flair.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I like that. I mean, honestly,
I think that one would be the biggest feud.
That right there, that's what Charlotte really needs, because we've seen her go toe-to-toe with everybody, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, everybody. Charlotte is the type of performer, in my opinion, that she needs like something fresh that to kind of bring that awe back of her. And why not someone like Britt Baker? I mean, I don't know if it's true that she wants to sign with WWE, but I mean, I'll tell you what, I'd be very intrigued to see her in WWE and what she could do, because there's a lot of good potential matchups for her there. But one being Charlotte Flair, because in my opinion, Charlotte Flair is the gatekeeper of the women's division.
She is the gatekeeper of it. Let me go out to Mike D. Roche, no Ralph, Barry Horowitz, of course. Burn It Down, Heyman jumping to Seth. Christopher Cole, I think Naomi interrupts the match with Belair, Rhea, and Sky. And Mike D. Roche again, does Kaiser turn on Tiffany? That would be awesome. I don't see that happening, but I will give you this, guys. This was kind of breaking news here the last couple days. Mariah May looks like she's moving on from AEW and she's coming to WWE. So there is another AEW talent that's going to be gone. Now,
what's going on over there? I'm very curious to know, like, what is going on? Like this,
they don't. The women's division, Louis, has no guidance.
Well,
they have no structure. They don't have anybody.
I will disagree. They got Toni Storm. She's done a great job. I think Timeless Toni Storm has done a great job. Too much Money Monet. They put all the belts on her. It's flopped. It doesn't work. It's been flat. But this is what Nick Khan had to say on the Bill Simmons podcast about All Elite Wrestling being competition to WWE. Pay attention, guys. We're always the underdog at WWE. Khan says, we always feel that people underestimate us, that we are looked down upon, and we like it that way. Like, bet against us. We prefer that and allow us to show what we can do. That's something he said that wasn't ridiculous enough when asked about utilizing their performers. Khan said, unlike the competition, they won't sign and bench their talent. Khan said, if WWE has signed someone to the company, they want to use them. That's something we won't do. He's taking a shot at Tony Khan and AEW. We don't sign and bench people. We sign people we want to use. If another entity signs and benches people now, that's not something we would do. Now, of course.
So wait a minute. He said Tony Khan said bet against us. We like that.
No, that's what Nick Khan said about WWE.
Oh, I thought Tony Khan said that.
He said Nick Khan said this. I know it's confusing, but Nick Khan.
That is true, though. I mean, the WWE, if they can't use you, you're gone. I mean, they don't just bench people. I mean, I hear Karrion Kross is about to leave. So, I mean,
that's what he's talking about, because they signed, they not Karrion Kross, but they signed Aleister Black, did nothing with him. They signed Rusev, did nothing with him as Miro. They've signed people before and done nothing with them. Nick Khan is pointing out that's not what we do.
Exactly. And again, it goes back to
I got more here. Hold on. In terms of the other wrestling promotional company, they have a lot of talented wrestlers, and we're happy about that. When contractually they're available to talk to and have conversations with, I assume a number of them will come over. Nothing but respect to the father who finances it and owns the Jaguars and all those other things. Now, there was somebody who reacted to this, and that was Ricochet, who said in so many words, F this company, when he heard that. So once again, Ricochet getting on social media and playing the victim, which, by the way, when he has been over in AEW, he's been awful. He's been absolutely awful. I don't know what's going on with AEW. They do a 5-hour pay-per-view, and instead of taking the belt off of, what's his name? The heavyweight champion.
John Moxley.
John Moxley.
Instead of taking the belt off of John Moxley and putting it on Swerve Strickland, they have the Young Bucks come out and screw Strickland, which makes no sense at all. And then they did it for Hangman. And then after the match, Strickland is more, bothered by Booker T and says, F Booker T, who's a legend in the business, because Booker T didn't go on Vlad TV. That's what they're concerned about. And listen, CM Punk told you this. He told you this when he left the company. When he got into that locker room and he was trying to talk to those young kids and they didn't want anything to do with him, that should have told you everything he needed to know at that point.
Yep.
Louie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I heard Jericho's leaving too. I heard he's coming to WWE again to finish out his career.
Probably will. Louie, what do you think about this? Louie's frozen, I think.
There he is.
Louie, go ahead. What do you think about this?
I mean, again, like you just said, CM Punk said it best. I mean, you take a look back at AEW's track record. I will never have respect for that company or take them somewhat serious because look, another guy I like to throw out there, Jay White.
Yeah,
he was supposed to be the next best thing. Unfortunately, you know what they remind me of? The Cleveland Browns. That's unfortunately that's what AEW is. They remind me of the Cleveland Browns. Excuse me for my language. They're a cheese dick wrestling company, and they're never gonna get anywhere doing anything because they have no direction. They have a guy who thinks he knows what he's doing, but he's well over his head. He's got two guys in the Young Bucks who try to tell him and pretend like they know what they're doing. You dropped the ball on Jay White. You dropped the ball. Not only that, again, going back to Malachi Black, who had probably one of the best debuts. That company, he's exactly what that company needed.
Yep.
That was one of the best debuts you would see by a professional wrestler. And they dropped the ball on him. They dropped the ball on that whole House of Black thing. They dropped the ball on a lot of guys, not just Malachi. Miro, he should have been a powerhouse. Why wasn't he a world champion? No, instead you have John Moxley bleeding all over the place with spikes in his head. I don't want to see that shit. It's dumb. It makes no sense. I want to see professional wrestling.
I agree. And the storyline doesn't make any sense. You've kept the belt on too long. You talked about a champion having the belt on too long. Moxley's done nothing for the promotion. The Death Riders have done nothing.
And their stupid tournaments, Peter. How many times have I talked about their stupid tournaments when they have all these brackets and all this stuff like they're trying to be like the NCAA or whatever? Just have certain wrestlers and get it over with.
Ralph, what do these tournaments even mean? They have no meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no meaning.
The international championship or ROH champion or whatever.
And then where's MJF in the fold? I mean, you kind of dropped the ball with him too, in my opinion.
Yep.
They did.
And there's just so many. A guy like Swerve Strickland, he should be champion. You also have MJF. Like there's guys there that could be champion. Hey, what's a good comeback story? Darby Allin. Why not him? I mean, he's kind of, it's just the whole repetitiveness of what they're doing, and who do you see at the focal point of all of this shit? The Young Bucks.
Yep.
Again, I'll say this real quickly. I will say this: the Young Bucks. You will never see them in a WrestleMania main event. You will never see them. I don't think you'll ever see them on a WWE pay-per-view or any type of event. You want to know why? Because they couldn't perform there. Because all these stupid stunts that they do has no meaning. Has no meaning whatsoever. They could never. That's why they always trashed WWE. I'll admit, when they were in Ring of Honor, they were pretty good. But they kind of like the Buccaneers defense. They hid a lot of flaws with the Bullet Club.
Very nice.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So they hid a lot of flaws. They had the Bullet Club to hide things that they couldn't do right. Because at the end of the day, you look at the Young Bucks, who were they aligned with? Finn Balor, at the time Prince Devitt. And then you had AJ Styles, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes, and Marty Scurll. They had and Hangman, like those guys together were good. Now you're starting to see these guys transition separately. Look at Tama Tonga. in WWE. I was actually shocked to see the way he is. A lot of these guys that you're seeing and couldn't really make it in WWE. And then at the end of the day, sorry for the long rant, but WWE is the big time. I'm sorry. You're in the minor leagues, man. They're in the minor leagues.
And listen, we want to see AEW, want to see competition because you never don't want to not have competition. What you would like to see more of with AEW is first somebody. I appreciate Tony Khan and his appreciation for wrestlers and the business, but he needs to get somebody to help
He's
him
got to
out.
stop being a fan, Peter. He's got to stop being a fan, and he's got to start really figuring out like what he's going to do because this is his company. He needs to take it back because he's got two dumbasses in his ear controlling his company. I don't understand how they make money. I really don't understand how they make money.
They've lost money since they've been around, Louie.
And I ordered a pay-per-view from them, and I couldn't even watch it on my TV. It was on Bleacher Report at the time. I said, what kind of nonsense is this? This is not professional.
Well, Louie, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but the father has gotten involved in this because the family's tired of him losing money on this entity. Okay?
Yeah.
They have lost money since they've been open. Ask Conan. Conan will tell you. I saw him on a podcast, and he said they've lost money since the day they've opened up, and they've never made any money. And it's going to continue like that till the family strips him of his money.
And again, and real quickly, you're looking at a lot of these guys coming from AEW into WWE, Ethan Page, and even Penta, Ray Phoenix, and what are they doing? They're thriving. Why?
Yes.
Because it's managed correctly. And CM Punk said it best, and I'll give props to Kenny Omega. He admitted to some things in an interview, but again, he's kind of part of the problem too. Him, the Young Bucks, all these guys. Khan needs to take back his company and get real professional help, not professional wrestlers running the show, because you're going to end up just like WCW. And you know who suffers? We do, because I want competition.
Yep. You're agreeing.
I have a question for you, Louie. Who's out there to help him? That's the question.
There's people out there that can help him. One, I'm going to say to help that women's division, Gail Kim could go in there and help that women's division.
There you go.
Some direction.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the perfect. By the way, that's the perfect hire because she just got fired by TNA. She's unbelievable behind the scenes in the ring. They would probably try to put her in the ring, but she's great behind the scenes. That would be a great hire for the women's division. I think the women's division is not bad. I just think, like you said, it needs some direction. Gail Kim.
Right.
For the men, I think you would love to have Eric Bischoff, or you love to see maybe Jim Cornette. But there's people out there in the business.
Jim Cornette would be the best fit for that company. And you want to know why? Because Jim Cornette is no bullshit, no nonsense. Is he a little out there? But you know what? The man knows professional wrestling, and he's got a passion for it. And he knows what works and what doesn't work, regardless of whatever political views he has, regardless of what kind of candy he likes to eat, regardless of what color shirt he likes to wear. It doesn't matter. That's the guy that you need to go in there and clean house. He did a phenomenal job with Ring of Honor when he was there. Unfortunately, they gave him the boot. Same thing with TNA. They gave him the boot, because the whole Russo situation. But again, you need to get a hard ass in AEW to not only clean up, and not only after you get him in there, you need to get somebody financially wise. Because what they're paying Mercedes, Sasha Banks, whatever the hell she wants to go by, Monet, who can't even cut a damn promo because I can't stand listening to her talk. The way she's horrendous. They need to get people in there with experience to help coach these people up. But the problem is a lot of these guys that they have in the locker room are a cancer. Cancer spreads. And a lot of them, they have such an ego that it's rubbing off on a lot of these younger talents. And again, it's no different than a football locker room, man. You get a bad seat in there, what's going to happen? Your team's going to fall apart. Simple as that. And that's what's going on with AEW. As long as the Young Bucks have their time to shine, and hey, look at us. No, look at you. You look like two dweebs, man. You look ridiculous.
They do look ridiculous.
Get back in the ring and wrestle, and stop trying to be an EVP. You're not an EVP, and I apologize for ranting, but I can go on and on about AEW. Again, Jim Cornette, Eric Bischoff, one of those guys, somebody, anybody, But unfortunately, there's too many egos.
Why haven't we heard from Nia Jax? I don't know, but who wants to hear from her? I don't. Let's go out to Triple H, and Nick Khan revealed that Travis Scott told them he slapped Cody Rhodes so hard because The Rock told him that he needed to slap the out of him. Khan, the Triple H, or Khan did tell Travis after that, hey, you know that was a pretty hard slap. Well, we'll show you how to pull your punches a little bit. Travis said, Dwayne Johnson told me you better slap the F out of him or people are going to think you don't have it, so I just did it. Triple H says, ironically, the only person that didn't complain about the slap was Cody Rhodes, and he just wanted it to look good. And then on top of that, Triple H had this to say on the High Performance podcast about CM Punk. Between he and Punk, there was partially down to bad communication with their frayed relationship with each other. For the WWE executive, the breakthrough came when he said to Punk he wasn't the same person he was when the straight edge superstar had his sudden and bitter divorce from WWE in 2014. He wanted to leave their drama in the past and start fresh. Triple H cited Punk's current run as a stark contrast from the past. He said the pair are working more collaboratively and now called one of the favorite things in TV because they ultimately share a similar mindset about the business. I'm going to be disappointed, guys, if I don't see Travis Scott and The Rock at WrestleMania because somebody needs to get their head kicked in or a stiff shot, and that needs to be Travis Scott. I know how you feel about him, Louie. But I like to see The Rock. I think they've dropped the ball in this, which has been disappointing. Maybe by design, maybe The Rock is doing some other things, or maybe they're just saving it for the last. But what do you think of the Travis Scott stuff? Actually, I know what you think about it, Louie. Ralph, what do you think about the Travis Scott stuff there?
He's got a receipt for his ass coming his way. I'll tell you
yes,
that.
He does. Yes, he does. Travis Scott, Ralph, he's got a receipt on Sunday or what?
Well, we'll see what happens. Like you said, maybe The Rock's doing other things, don't have time to be at WrestleMania. I don't know. I think he's going to be there. I think Travis Scott will be there. I think John Cena wins the match, and I think Cody Rhodes wins Money in the Bank and then goes and cashes in the case and wins back the title on Cena. That's what I think is going to happen down the road.
Wow, that's great. That's good stuff there. CM Punk and Triple H, their relationship is different. Do you think that's been for better TV at this point, Louie?
I like where they're at. I like what Triple H had to say too about CM Punk, about like that first phone call. Like, hey, like if you're the same guy 10 years ago, like I like that. I like the fact that CM Punk is back with the WWE. I like that he works closely with Triple H. Not only just that, it's kind of like the Tom Brady effect, guys. He's working with the younger talent at NXT.
Yeah.
And you need that. And he's got a knack for the business. He's got a nose for the business. He's out there. He's out in the ring. He hears the crowd. He knows what the crowd likes. He knows what the crowd doesn't like.
Yeah.
This is the type of guy, regardless of what anybody thinks, this is the type of guy you want leading the next generation of. This is why you're going to see, in my opinion, you watch. You're going to. There's long-term effects to this relationship. I think Triple H and Hunter having the relationship that they have is, hate to say it, is what's best for business.
All right, so that is best for business. We shall see what happens on Saturday and Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with both of those matches. I don't know how to predict it at this point. I think John Cena wins. I hate to say that, but I believe he does win. He does go over. And then I also happen to think that Seth is going to turn with Paul Heyman. But I don't know if he wins the match, but he probably will win the match. I just hate to see it. I like to see CM Punk win that match, but we'll see what happens at this point, gentlemen. Final thoughts, Louie, on WrestleMania 41 here on Turnbuckle Talk.
Hey, man, I'm just excited to watch a real professional wrestling show. I think it's going to be good. Even though I'm going to be in Nashville, I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to see him is. And I really don't have a prediction really for the Cena and Cody Rhodes situation. That's something that I'm just going to instead of like being like a reporters or analyst, I just want to be a fan and watch that, because I think that's really gonna top what happens last year. And again, I'm really looking forward to it. And that's about it, man. Like I said, it's gonna be exciting, man. A lot of interesting stuff going on, and as always, it was fun to do the show. It's about what, 11-12 right now.
It is. We've done over 3 hours, man. We appreciate the time here. Safe travels, my friend.
Well, I'm gonna sign off with this. Everybody, be good. Enjoy WrestleMania.
Have a nice trip, Louie. Happy birthday to your wife.
Oh, there you go. You
Happy
said
birthday.
Oh, she's like half sleeping. So with that being said, thank you. Goodbye. Good night. Peace.
All right, there you go right there. He is done with us. We'll go back to the 2-shot here. Ralph, give me some final thoughts on WrestleMania 41.
I like the show. I think it's going to be interesting. There's some matches that I'm really enticed with. I'm interested in this Fatal 4-Way with Braun Breaker. I'm interested in the Jade Cargill Naomi match. Those are the two matches that I'm really interested to see what happens, other than the other ones which we know where we believe they're going.
All right, good stuff, Mr. Ralph Wlliams, bodyguard of the Berg. We appreciate you as always. All right, RW Media. All right, good stuff there. So we are out of here with that. Over 3 hours of show. I thought we were going to be able to get out of here tonight early. Guess not. Everybody wanted to come on and talk about Jason Light. So thanks a lot to all the guests. Thanks a lot to David Zuzman for calling in, and Alex, and of course Curtis and Sun Devil Dave, and all the guests for the night. Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions. Louie of the Frozen Pirate podcast. Boy, I'm losing my mind here. Ralph Wlliams, of course, bodyguard of the Berg, right there. Of course, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, Harry, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, Leo, all the guests. We appreciate you as always. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. We'll keep it down. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. As we always say, go Bucs.